Hello, my Teaserking family. Well, we got some NFL to talk about. We got Egon did a show. We'll talk that. What's going on with gold and bricks, and as we watch the U.S. economy blow up, which is no news for us. That's what listening to one guy, and I thought he was actually good, and I'm like, is he an Austrian? Wasn't sure. And then at the end, I go, what do you think gold's going to do? And he said, well, it could go to 2,300. And he's looking at a chart, and I go, yeah, he doesn't understand price fixing. We can't listen to him. So tonight we got Cleveland and the Jets. And I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is doing. He should be playing because God knows he needs to work in the timing with his new receivers, but he might get hurt. Oh, and we can't, it's football. We don't want anybody getting hurt. I've never seen so many people worried about people getting hurt. It's football. Hope I didn't just chip a tooth. No, I think I'm good. There's that seed in here, and if you bite on it, you don't know if you chip the tooth or you chip the seed. So I've been a good boy, not eating after 6. Today I'm just getting back from the grocery store and the pool and the bike, and I'm just having this nectarine for class, keep my energy up. And that's Crystal Light, so that's good. So let's talk a little football first, and then we'll get into Egon. So what I've done now is gone to my trends sheet just to show you. I use the trend maybe 20% of the time. I look at the defense and the quarterback and the injuries, the rest. So when we look at it, let's go through it. So KC 6.5, 53 over Detroit. We know Detroit, very weak defense, although so does KC. Now, you're getting these little injuries, and when you read them, oh my, this major injury, and you look and like, who the fuck's this guy? You never heard of him. So there's minor injuries to the Lions. KC lost the receiver, big deal. It wasn't Kelsey. 6.5. So if we look at it from this standpoint, so it should be an over game. We're a little bit concerned Detroit doesn't have the running back, so that's going to hurt them inside the red zone. How are they going to score touchdowns? And Goff's going to throw another 5-6 interceptions trying to throw the ball inside the 10 instead of handing it to that guy and let him score. They don't have a running back. The Alabama guy's not a running back. That was a huge mistake. And they've lost a few tight ends, which is key. But nobody important. Again, the St. John's guy, I think now that he's the one receiver, they'll just double team him and take him out, and that leaves nobody. So Lions, I don't know if they're going to be an over. That's a big loss to running back, and they don't have anybody that can replace him. Montgomery, he's a short yardage back. He doesn't have a lot of moves. He ain't going to get 17 touchdowns the way the other guy did. There's a knack to it. Jim Otis, Ohio State, there was a knack to finding the end zone. Paul Hornung had it. The guy had it last year. I don't think Montgomery's never had a lot. So I like the over. Now, in the trend world, let's look at that. KC's got no trends. They're not a good home favorite. The Lions are not a bad road dog, as bad as they usually are. They're 9-0 as a play against home favorite is Kansas City. And if you play against Kansas City, it's 17-3. Usually their spreads are too high with Mahomes. It's always been like that. Marino and, Elway, you get the good quarterbacks and they never, they're laying 10 when they should be laying 3. So the trend spread is actually Detroit betting against KC as a home favorite. They're a decent road dog. Not great, but not terrible like they've been. So basically, KC's not a good home favorite and not good to bet on. And look, if you bet against them in the Super Bowl and the Cincinnati game, you won. So from that angle, it's actually a Lions play. KC gets down, Mahomes wins the game for him. But because he's laying 10 points, he wins the game by 3 or 4. So that's why I do think KC wins even. There's no way Detroit can win. However, I do think the 12.5 is probably good with Detroit. But we got to watch without their running back if they're a good offensive team, which we know golf sucks. So I don't know. This is a tough one. Carolina and Atlanta, huge trend on Carolina here. Carolina is 20-2 as a road dog. Play against Atlanta is 15-1 as a home favorite. So play against Atlanta is 14-2, 15-1 as a home favorite. Just play against Atlanta is 14-2. Carolina is 12-2 as a road dog, 20-2 as a road dog, 7-1 as a road dog. So Carolina is a huge road dog here. They're probably going to go with Ritter, from what I can see. In Carolina, they don't really have a quarterback, so I don't know what they're going to do. I guess they'll play the Alabama guy, and he's going to hope they're playing New Mexico State. Hi, Miss Kenzie, or is it Kiana? We think it's Kiana Reeves. We think you stole that name and you just switched it to Kenzie. Is that what you did? So is this really Kiana Reeves? Or do you like me because I'm also an INFJ like Kiana? Your name. Kenzie Reeves. Kiana Reeves. You didn't bother me. I'm just having fun. You obviously aren't having fun. I'm having a great life. I hope you have a great life. I hope you're well and doing well, making some good money, but you're not buying gold, so you're going to be in trouble soon. Well, we'll talk about that later when Egon comes on. You got jokes. Yes, I do. I am a very vast personality. You apparently don't. You get bothered by somebody making jokes for some reason. You can laugh with me. It's fine. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to be cute. And Bobby thinks the same thing. He thinks you're Keanu Reeves also. We both kind of thought about that. I'm not ready to meet you either. Maybe I've been ready to meet you for 5 years. So what can I say? You're not ready to meet me, but I'm ready to meet you. If you're smart, you'd meet me. Let's put it that way. If you're smart, you'd meet me. You're the beneficiary of meeting me. So that's up to you. If you want to be smart and have a happy life, you'd meet me. I'll have a happy life regardless. You did hurt me, and I don't care about no Bobby. How did I hurt you? I gave you some money. I followed your instructions. You kept asking for more money. How did I hurt you? I didn't hurt you. Your little guy with your little bullshit contract. You want to come here? Come here. You know where I live. I've given you all that information. You could be living a very nice life right now, but I guess you don't like gold and silver. And you got Bitcoin, so you're going to be in trouble, and you got to get out of the banking system, which you won't listen to me on. So, I don't know what to tell you. I don't make this up. I got a master's in economics. Well, Bobby's he was a good baseball player on the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Mets. Professional ball player. He's a good guy. Anyway, let me get back to football. Carolina. So the big trend is Carolina, but again, they got to start the quarterback. What is it? Young. He's not very good because they're not going to be playing New Mexico State. And he's going to go up against Georgia, and you saw what happens when he went up against Georgia. Atlanta with Ritter, and they're going to run the ball down their throat. Carolina, decent defense. We'll have to see how the season breaks out, but I wouldn't bet anything on Bryce Young. Houston and Baltimore. Is this you, Kenzie? You don't text, so it can't be you. This is Carmen. This is my friend from Romania. Oy, oy, oy. I can't read all this. This is too much to read. All right. I'll just send a picture. So much for the nectarine. But I beat 8 o'clock, so that's all I cared about. I've been good since last Friday. I haven't eaten since after 6. Did the 47-hour fast over the weekend, so definitely feeling much better. And the weight's going down, so not that's I just do it for health reasons, but it's good to clean out. Houston, Baltimore. So we've got, I don't know who's quarterbacking for Houston. I pray it's whatchamacallit, CJ Stroud. Yeah, he's here. Houston's a good trend here. They're 14-2 as a road dog, and play against Baltimore is as a home favorite's 12-1. So Baltimore doesn't win by a lot at home, and Houston's a very good road dog. So this is a very good Houston play. However, they don't have an offense. They don't have a coach. They don't have a defense. Baltimore doesn't have a quarterback. Lamar's, like I say, it's like playing chess without rooks and pawn, with rooks and bishops. That's Lamar Jackson. So I think this is a very low scoring game because I don't think Houston can score with this quarterback. Whoever the quarterback is, Mills or Stroud, neither of them is going to do anything. So I like the game under, but there's a good trend on Houston and 15.5. So be careful betting Baltimore. Probably go under is better. Cincinnati, Cleveland. We've got Cincinnati is 16-3, 34-6 as straight up in games. Burrow hurt the calf. He's out. He'll be out next week, and he should be back after that. Nothing good. Deshaun Watson for Cleveland. I mean, who knows? See, Deshaun Watson, I'd be playing in the preseason. That's just ridiculous. He needs to play. He just, what am I going to say? This guy needs work. You're not going to play him. You're scared of getting injured. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if he wanted to right now. So I don't know. But that's the only trend. So Cincinnati with Burrow is the play, and I love him getting 3.5. Jacksonville and Indy. Jacksonville laying 4 and 44. Cincinnati was 2.5, 47. Jacksonville 4.44. Play against Indy is 14 and 2. Although I can't play Jacksonville as a road favorite. You got to be kidding me. They're very rarely a road favorite, just against Indy and Houston probably. Indy sucks. You got Richardson. If he starts, oh my God, this should be an under. Although I don't know how bad Jacksonville's defense is. It was terrible last year, as was Indy's. We know Taylor's probably gone from Indy, so I don't know what they're doing. Terrible coach. Play against. It's just, here's where you just can't take Jacksonville. Now the play would be over, but Indy doesn't have a quarterback, so you can't play the over. I don't know. I don't know what to do here. I can't. I'm not betting on Trevor Lawrence as a road favorite ever. I can't trust him as a favorite ever. But I can't go over with Indy. So it's it's like a mishmash game that you don't know which way you're going on. All right, Tampa Bay mini 6.5, 46. Now here's multiple trends. There's a big trend on Tampa Bay really going against Minnesota. Minnesota is a home favorite. If you go against, is 8-1 and 11-2. Play against Minnesota 15-3. Play against Tampa 16-2. Mini is 8-1 as a home favorite and 11-2 as a home favorite. So they're 11-2 as a home favorite, 11-2 if you bet against them as a home favorite. Play against Tampa 16-2. Play against Mini 15-3. What the fuck's going on here? So both teams suck. We don't know if it's going to be Trask or Mayfield yet. Cousins, he sucks. But you got Jefferson. So the big difference is Jefferson. I don't know the Tampa receivers yet or how bad either defense is. Mini's an over team, absolutely. Tampa, we don't know if they're a Z team and they suck or they're just I don't know. Is Trask going to play and is Evans playing and the other receiver? Who's their tight end? Who's their running backs? Or did they all leave because Brady left? Probably. I just like Mini at home because Jefferson. I mean, that's basically it would be a bet Jefferson, lay the half. They should win at home. But and I'm betting a little against Tampa with the worst coach. And he's worse than the Lions coach. So I look at Tampa just sucking because their coach sucks. New Orleans, Tampa. New Orleans 4.42. Play against New Orleans is 14-3. So there is a good trend on Tennessee in this game as the dog. And betting against New Orleans. They're not a good home team. This should be running the ball, but who's Tennessee going to run? Do they still have Henry? What's going on is whatchamacallit, the quarterback still. Sherman, I don't know where he went, so I don't know what's going on here. This will have to wait. But this is, in a normal trend, we'd be betting against New Orleans. San Francisco, Pitt. Pitt is 7-0 as a home dog. Frisco 3.42.5. Brock Purdy should be starting. Now they're trying to get rid of Trey Lance. See, this is what you do. This is what I always bitch about the Tigers. When you've blown it and you've got a bad player, like the Tigers have, the shortstop who sucks. They're paying him like $25 million. And you hear it on the radio. Excuse me, just cut the guy. Just let him go. He sucks. He's hitting 220. He makes a bunch of errors. He doesn't help the team. Get rid of him. See, the problem with these guys from the Dominican Republic and that, you give them $20 million in a year, you think they're actually going to try? This is the problem. I know if you paid me $20 million, now I would do this. If you paid me $20 million to handicap and do the economics, that I don't do for the money. But if you paid me that to, play golf or play shortstop, I would have a hard time being, like, oh, you're going to pay me all that money? Okay, thanks. And just go out there and go through the motions. I don't know if my passion, because once you're making that kind of money, now I'm getting paid good at work, and I am still highly motivated to do a good job. So I don't know, but I can see some of these Latin American players so many times these Latin American players were, once you start paying, look at Cabrera. You're paying that idiot $30 million a year. He's another guy I'd say goodbye. Now he won the Triple Crown, but what's he done the last 6 years? He's hitting, 200 with 5 home runs a year and 20 RBIs, and he's taking up a roster spot, and you're the worst team in the league. Probably need to get rid of him. And people say, oh, you got a contract. Hey, I'm buying you out. First of all, I'm a billionaire as the owner, right? The pizza guy. So I got $1 billion. I don't what's 30 million to me, or even if it costs me 100 million to buy him out, I'm buying him out. He's not productive, and I'm losing it in sales because I'm a last place team. So I would just pay him out, and I'd probably be able to say, look, we're ripping up the contract. I'll settle for 35 million. Take it or leave it. And he might give you a little static for it, and okay, fine. But they rip up contracts all the time. So I wouldn't pay any of these idiots. But I wouldn't have signed him to a 10-year contract when he's already in his 30s. I mean, I didn't realize that. He went back to Miami, and they had a big thing because he started in 2006. So it's 17 years later. He played 5 years in Miami. And I'm doing the math going, so you gave him a 10-year contract, and he's 31 years old? You out of your fucking minds? Yeah, he's going to play. He's going to hit 300 until he's 40. Yeah, okay. Maybe Willie Mays, maybe Mantle. That's about it. Okay. All right, Frisco Pitt. So, again, now you've got Purdy. He's ready to go. He's been given the okay. He's your starter against Pickett. I love the under here, 3 and 42.5. And I think Pittsburgh is a very live dog here. But I do think it'll be a low-scoring game. It'll probably be 20-17 or something like that. Arizona, Washington. I don't know who the quarterbacks are. Play against home favorite, 7-0. So that's Washington. So on a fundamental standpoint, you're taking Arizona, getting the 12 points because they're a weak home favorite, Washington. But Arizona, they're a decent road dog. But again, who's the quarterback? We don't know. Green Bay and the Bears. Chicago 1.5, 44.5. We've got play against Chicago 15-2. We got Green Bay 10-1 as a road dog. We got Chicago 6-1 as a home favorite. So if we play against Chicago 15-2 and we take the Pack 10-1 as a road dog, it's a Green Bay play. You got low against Fields. I almost drove off the road today. Somebody said Fields for the MVP. I've never heard of an MVP who can't complete 20% of his passes over 20 yards. Oh, they got the guy, whatchamacallit, C.J. Johnson or whatever. Oh, yeah, they won't cover him. They'll just leave him open knowing he's the only guy that you can throw to. And then they said, he picked up some good offensive linemen. So now he can run. Again, you're playing chess without the bishops and the rooks. You don't have a chance. So he'll run a lot, but Don't you have running backs and receivers that you want to kind of get in the game? So the problem is Jordan Love stinks. So I got two terrible quarterbacks in a game I like over, and it's Fields because he can run. Love, we have no idea. He didn't run a lot at Utah State. Like I said, he had a great junior year, and he sucked as a senior, and he's done nothing the last 3 years but watch Aaron Rodgers. But I'm not impressed with him, but we'll see. Now that he's had time to watch Rodgers and time to learn from LaFleur, maybe he's figured it out. We will see. Oakland and Denver. We got Denver 3.5, 45. Again, these phantom injuries. Oh, we lost some linebacker, and I never heard of. We lost some lineman, never heard of. And, Oakland doesn't even have good players to start with. So as long as it's not Russell Wilson, you've got Sean Payton. There's very little trend here. Oakland has a little trend, but nothing like the others. So really no trend. Denver's a lot better than Oakland, and Payton's a lot better than McDaniels. Miami, San Diego, big trend on play against San Diego, 17-3. Also play San Diego. So if you play San Diego, you're 17-3. If you play against San Diego, you're 17-3. Bottom line is San Diego plays a lot of close games. You take the dog in most of those. Tua, who knows if he'll complete the game. Bozo, sack him, get a concussion, he'll be done. So I don't know what to do here. I do like it over. See, here's where the over-under helps you. It's a very high-scoring game, and yet the trend is bet against San Diego and bet on them. So Miami doesn't give you much as a road dog. San Diego just gives you these games are close. So we'll see. Philly and New England. Philly 446.5. Philly as a road favorite is 11-1 and 17-3 overall. This is a huge Philly trend. Strong as a road favorite, strong overall. So we'll see. But I like Philly anyway, but I really like the under here. And I was reading some guy was like me saying Jalen Hurts isn't that good. So he compared him to Dak Prescott, and I think that's about right. He'll throw a lot of interceptions. He wants to run too much. They said in a critical game against Washington, they kept him in the tackle box. They didn't let him out, and he didn't do shit. So he needs to run also. So again, it'll catch up with all these Alabama quarterbacks that want to run out of the pocket or think their receivers are going to be open because they were open against New Mexico State. So in the pros, they're automatically open. So I like the game under or Philly here. The Rams in Seattle. I heard that my man Stetson Bennett looked great today in practice. Hit Cooper Kupp. So Kupp's playing. I don't know about Aaron Donald. So I'm right again. So the best quarterback in the draft is going to be Stetson Bennett. Then it'll be the guy on New Orleans, Habner. And then it's going to be Thompson Robinson, and the Lions will fuck up with Hooker. He'll end up somewhere in a couple of years, and he'll be good. On the Lions, he won't, but they're not going to keep Goff. He stinks. Then I don't know if they signed Bridgewater as the backup. So next year he can be, because they will not pay Goff the $20, $30 million. They'll never do that. They'll pay Bridgewater a year, then they'll have Hooker, and then they'll pay him until he's ready, and then that'll be it. So that's Lions football for you. They announced they sold out attendance. I just laughed for a 4-win team. When you're 1-6 and you end up 9-8, and the teams you beat didn't have a defense. You beat Green Bay twice, no defense, and the Bears twice. So that's 4 of your wins came against teams with no defense. But when they played the defensive teams, Dallas and New England, not good defensive teams, They got shut out. So against good defensive teams, they're going to struggle. Kansas City's not a good defensive team. Then they got Seattle week 2. So again, 2 strong offenses will pick them apart. So again, I give them 4 wins. I don't even know what they'll do. They'll probably split with the Bears, split with the Packers, split with the Vikings, and beat Jacksonville or something. Beat Oakland. Dallas and the Giants. No trends here. Again, Prescott against Jones. 2 terrible quarterbacks. Dallas is the better team with the better defense. I can't play Dallas as a road favorite. And again, I'm struggling over or under. I'm not sure. Probably an under. I don't see the Giants scoring that much. So probably under 52. And last but not least, Buffalo against the Jets. Jets. Rodgers over Allen. No trend here. Buffalo's not a strong road favorite. The Jets are a decent home dog, but nothing really came out of it. Again, I like the Jets in 8 with the Packer offense and the Niner defense. At home, Monday Night Football. It's going to be hard to beat them. All right, so that is that. I did notice my Utah is down to 7.5 against Florida. I hear some idiot on BetMGM's touting Florida. And okay, because they got Graham Mertz from Wisconsin, the cradle of quarterbacks. So he's all high on Florida because of that. Well, we're lacking Utah. So anyway, that's what we have. So let's go to baseball. All the games are probably going on. We don't care. Scherzer won. He's on Texas. Verlander, the lock hit the other day, and he's now on Houston again. So they both start out on the Mets, and then Scherzer goes to Texas, Verlander goes to Houston. Can somebody? But the Tigers can't get rid of their bullshit. So it's crazy. That's why they're the worst team in the league, and here the Mets are able to get somebody for Verlander and Scherzer, although it cost them a lot. But they don't care. They got money. All right, 9:38, so we got time. Seattle against California. We got Mr. Flair, Brian Wu going for Seattle, 1-3 with the 5 ERA against Shotel Hotano, 9-5 with a 3.43. Over 8. I like over 8. I mean, California should hit Ric Flair. Seattle should definitely hit Shotani. So they only need 8. So I like the game over. And Shotani will hit 5 or 6 home runs, won't he? Because he can pitch and hit. Oakland and the Dodgers. JP Sears for Oakland, 2-7 with a 4.09. Julio Urias, 7-6 with the 4.98 ERA. So you got to go over here, 8.5. And that's it. Philly beat Miami 4-2. Texas, Scherzer won. There you go. We missed the lock. Scherzer 1-0 with the 4.50, wins 5-3 over the White Sox. Kansas City beats Bobby's team. Bobby, did you play tonight? Brady Singer with a 5.10 ERA beat Carlos Carrasco with a 6.60 ERA. So we would have played it over with those ERAs. 9-2, I think, would have got there. Baltimore and Toronto. Baltimore wins 6-1. Flaherty 1-0 with a 1.5, probably the reliever against Kevin Gausman, who's good, 8-6 with the 3.20. Probably go under with Gausman if Baltimore had a good pitcher, which it looks like they did. Toronto only got 1 run on him. 7 would have been a good under. But you're just getting the thought process. And the Niners beat Arizona 1-0. Tristan Beck, 3-0 with the 2.73, beat Praft, 0-5 with the 7.11. Camille Dovar with the save. Who cares? I see a pitcher with a 7.11. I got to go over, or I would have taken Beck, who's 3-0. So if Beck was actually a starter with the 2.73 ERA, we're going to take him over Pat, who was 0-5 with the 7-11. So we would have bet the Niners the 2-7-3 against the 7-11. I mean, that's try to keep it basic. So what we got going on now, Milwaukee 5-1. I don't see the pictures now. So Milwaukee 5-1 in the fourth. We got the Yankees over Houston 3-2. We got the Twins over the Cards 4-1. Twins 4, Cards 1. We got the Reds and the Cubbies 1-1. So that's about it. I did like Minnesota. The Cardinals, I have a bad pitcher. Minnesota's got their best guy. That would have been the only play. I don't know Houston. I don't think Verlander's going today. I think he went the other day. So that be baseball. Now let's get to Egon. Bobby, where are you? I got Egon stuff. Yeah, Bobby. Okay, Egon. We'll go with this. So let's do that. I'll give Bobby one more minute. I thought he'd be on. All right, Bobby. Can't hold up class for the rest of us. All right, here we go. This is Egon. He's the Swiss banker, economist, like Alligator, like Mark McGuire, Austrian, and he knows what's going on. Buy your gold and everything else. So let's take a listen to Egon.
I would say that the central banks, because they haven't got a clue, as we have discussed before, Patrick, when interest rates were zero, negative in Europe, and inflation was zero, they were fighting hard to get it up to their target rate of 2%. 2%, of course, is a meaningless figure. We don't want any inflation. A good economy should have no inflation.
Exactly.
2% means that prices double every 35 years. So that's not a good figure either. But anyway, they never managed to get it up to 2%, and all of a sudden it goes up to 7, 8, 9, 10%, depending on the country. And food inflation goes up to 20 or 30%, and fuel inflation also. So, they haven't got a clue. And then, of course, they call it transitory. It's not so temporarily now, by a bit of manipulation and a bit of correction to the trend. Inflation has come down a little bit, but the ECB is determined that they're going to get it down to their 2% again. Of course, they'll never, in my view, get it down to 2%. And if it miraculously would come down temporarily, it was straight away bounce back again. The interest rates, we had a long trend from 1981 to 2020 of falling rates from 16, let me take US 10-year, 16% to in 81 to 0.5%. And then now we've seen the trend going up. And that, to me, we have at least, that was a 40-year downtrend. Previous cycle was a 30-year cycle. Whether it's a B30 or 40 or let's say even if it was only 10 years, interest rates are, in my view, going to go up for a long time. And that's an indication also that inflation will stay high. Energy prices are not coming off more than temporarily because there is a problem with energy in the world. There is not enough energy. Number one, but more importantly, the cost of producing energy from energy is increasing. And therefore, we are going to see increased energy costs. And then you have this movement of electric cars and all of the things that the world governments, which is more political than anything else, because it's not actually saving much for the environment, in my view. But nevertheless, you have that movement, which is going to be costlier, and therefore we will have high inflation, in my view, for an extended period, and much higher than we're seeing now. It's going to bounce back up again. So and people are suffering in Europe tremendously, of course. Food prices extremely high, and people can't afford to buy normal food anymore. They buy cheap food, which is obviously bad from a nutritional point of view. Their interest rates are going up on their mortgages, or their rents are going up. So things are very tough in Europe. In Germany, in France, in the UK, and in Sweden, where I am right now. I mean, it's the same there. Of course, people, the effect is gradual and doesn't happen overnight. We don't see thousands of people homeless in the streets yet, because there's a safety net protecting people in the short term. But people clearly are not spending the amount of money that they have, and people are finding things tough. And I think that's just the beginning, Patrick. So overall, this is what we have been saying and expecting. It's happening, and it's happening in Europe. Really hitting people badly. And of course, there isn't any good, strong leadership anywhere in any country. There's no state around in the world at all today.
We got Joey Biden.
So no one can act. No one is doing anything about it. But there's nothing to do either, because this is the end of an era that we have talked about for a long time. If you create money out of thin air for extended periods of, let's say, 50 years or so, in the end, you have to pay the piper. You actually have to.
That'd be Roddy Piper. So, as I say, this is what's happened. This is toilet paper. This is just paper. This has no value. It's credit. It's not money like gold and silver are. So what he's saying is you can't just keep printing this with no problems. You can't just keep having a $30 trillion debt with no problems. You can't hit the iceberg and the water coming in the ship and act like the water is not coming in. Oh, well, we'll take care of it. We'll all get buckets and put the water back out. I mean, that's a lot of what he's saying, is you can't just keep doing this with no repercussions. That's what he's talking about. So that's why I do these little examples. He says it, but we're saying the same thing. So I don't want to confuse anybody, but I'd just like to elaborate. All right. Back to you again.
There are consequences, and sadly, most governments and most central bankers don't look at consequences. They just take short-term action, and they're short-term thinkers. But we will have a long-term problem here, Patrick, a very long-term problem of high interest rates, high inflation, declining economies, declining income. It's going to be very tough for people, and that excludes looking at your geopolitical side also. So that's where we are in Europe. Not a good picture. But if you look at people on a daily basis, some of that still there is not misery yet, but it's certainly going.
It's coming.
Hopefully not in that direction, but it certainly is. People are going to have tougher times. There's no question about it.
If you're enjoying this interview with Egon Von Greers and I, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And did you know you can collateralize your gold and silver while retaining full ownership of your precious metals with silver bullion?
I'm also Swiss. I happen to have two passports, as you know. I'm Swedish also, but yes, I mean, it's here, Patrick, a very long-term problem of high interest rates, high inflation, declining
your gold and silver while retaining full ownership of your precious metals with Silver Bullion's secured peer-to-peer loan program. To learn more about this, please go to www.silverbullion.com.
Get back to Egon. We don't really want to hear you.
Look for the P2P loans tab. It's interesting. All the points that you just laid out, I had recently spoken to Dr. Mark Faber, and he said the same thing, where he expects the inflation to continue to go up, and he expects inflation or interest rates to go up as well. And that kind of brings the question where, as these rates go higher, businesses start to slow down a bit. And, we may start to see recessions coming on in. I mean, do you see this as well, where recession may be coming on the horizon?
We're in
Well,
one, Charlie.
Mark Faber is a wise Swiss, of course. I'm also Swiss. I happen had to have two passports, as you know. I'm Swedish also, but yes, I mean, I agree with him. Yes, things are going to get difficult. Of course, we're going to have a recession. I think we're going to have a depression at some point. It might initially be a hyperinflation, a depression, but and then it could be a deflationary implosion at some point. But the reason is simple. We have just created a bubble of proportions, of global proportions that has never been seen before in history. And you cannot, for more than a very short period of time, live on money that has zero value, which or can create debt in order to improve your standard of living. At some point, as I said before, you have to take the consequences of that, and that's what we're going to see. And what we saw in mid of March, first in the U.S., what the Romans call the Ides of March, which is middle of March, which was obviously a period where that was the time when Caesar was killed, and that's what we refer to Ides of March as an ominous period. And interestingly enough, the four banks in the U.S., starting with the Silicon Valley Bank, they crashed around the 15th of March. So that's like, of course, now the Fed said in their latest statement the banking system is sound. Well, they can't say anything else. They can't say that we think the banking system is going to collapse, because that's what they are afraid of. But they have to support it with words, because they can't support it with more money. They can't, the printing money, worthless money, to save banks that already have balance sheets exploding with worthless money is not going to help the situation. Of course, at some point they will do anyway, because they don't have any other remedy. The banking system, the problem that we saw in the middle of March temporarily now stopped. And then, of course, we saw Credit Suisse collapsing in front of our eyes and being taken over by UBS, forced takeover by the government, Swiss government, really, and a bit of assistance from them. And not the same problem as the American banks, but nevertheless, it's the problem that we have in the banking system. Just lots of bad loans, lots of bad investments, mass, aiding financial speculators, like in the case of Credit Suisse. This was helping hedge funds and investment companies, etc., with massive leverage, which eventually all imploded. And this is what Credit Suisse has done, and lost billions and billions in the last 20 years or so. But that's across the board. And now the banking system was, which we saw in the American banks, the banking system was assuming low rates forever. I mean, just ridiculous. So that they're borrowing short term, and then lending long or depositing long. And of course, that's a disaster when the rates go up as they have now. So the banking system is under tremendous pressure, and they have to reduce their balance sheets dramatically. Less pressure from the Fed, on a daily basis almost for U.S. banks to reduce their balance sheet. And it's the same here in Europe. And the consequence of that is obviously that you already have companies that are under pressure because they haven't got enough cash flow. And then you take specific areas like sectors like the property companies, commercial property, both in Europe and in the US, under real pressure now because they have borrowings, which are getting costlier by the day, and they are standing with a lot of empty properties. So that's another sector which is having real problems now, and that will increase. So all of these things, Patrick, is going to, that will be the initial catalyst for the financial system and the economies turning down. And I think
so. There's basically we're in a recession, I believe, because costs are going up, and then the economy slows down. It has to. You get problems with the cars. Interest rates are up. You can't sell a house. You can't sell your car. So it's all there. Now, if we go, where am I on the trade cycle? Number 14, deflation. Banks have bad loans. What did he say? The banks have bad loans because they thought the rates would stay at 0. The rates have went up to 5. The costs went up. People can't pay them back. Step 14, if you would just know the trade cycle as I know it, that's where we're at. Step 15, banks can find borrowers that are able and willing to pay. So good. They can't make good loans to people like me who are going to sit there and go, yeah, I'll pay you back. So they're worried about that. And then the cleaning out process, everybody tries to get liquid, businesses lay off. And then we're only 2 steps from that. And the thing is, the trade cycle will not happen if it's created by an increase in savings, only by an increase in the money supply. So I was looking at that. I was watching this other guy and he's talking about money supplies decreased, and I looked and it's not decreased. Guy's full of shit. You got to be careful with these Keynesians.
Swiss, you have the 2 pillars of the Swiss banking community, the UBS and Credit Suisse, and no normal person, whatever, expect one of those banks to go under. Now, Credit Suisse was obviously saved without clients losing money. Some investors lost money on the bonds, etc. But the individual depositors didn't lose any money. So overall, they didn't see actually the underlying problems that the bank could have gone under. But I've been writing about Credit Suisse for years, saying that the risk is enormous because of all the bad investment decisions they have been taking in the last 10 years or so. But remember, before that, in 2008, it was UBS that had to be saved. In Switzerland, talking about. So the bank that took over Credit Suisse, had to be saved in 2008 because they were under real pressure. I talked about, and of course, the U.S. banks are no better because all of the major banks in the U.S. were on the verge of going under in 2008, and were miraculously, I would say, saved by central banks and a lot of money printing and governments, etc. And now, as I've argued many times, Switzerland is politically the best country in the world, and Switzerland's finances are strong when it comes to low debt and virtually no deficits. But when it comes to the banking system, it's much too big for the country. So the Swiss banking system is as bad as any other banking system, but with the additional problem that it's too big for the country. And you know that the Swiss National Bank is like a hedge fund, and they have positions, currency mainly, and investment portfolios that are greater than Swiss GDP. That the Swiss National Bank shouldn't be a hedge fund. You take the Fed; they're only their balance sheet is just 20% of GDP or so, of US GDP. So yes, there is therefore I've been saying, like you have in your company for years, protect your assets, protect what you have. Don't put your money into the banking system or just whatever part you need to transact and live for the day, but don't keep your savings or your investment money within the banking system. And that doesn't just mean bank account; it means also custodial risk of your own stocks there, etc. Because everything is at risk. Now, of course, 99.5% of the people don't worry about this. They think that the government will always save the bank, but I think they should worry, as you come here in our company saying, we're here to help people to do so well. We're not here to sell them a product or anything. We care about what's going to happen to the system, and we worry about the risk coming. That is here
exactly,
today.
Egon.
And as we know, you can't protect afterwards against the risk. You can't buy fire insurance when the fire has started, and there will be a fire here. There will be a massive fire. And I could see bail-ins coming back, especially in the U.S. Because they need the money. The government is. If you take the U.S. government, which is the biggest borrower in the world, sovereign borrower, they are running constant deficits of now trillions, and it's going to get worse. How do they get the money? By issuing treasury bonds. Who buys the treasury bonds? Well, before, you had foreign nations buying them. You had Russia, you had China, you had a number of nations around the world. Japan was a big buyer also. Now nobody buys U.S. bonds anymore. Nobody wants them. The people are selling or not buying. A lot of people have liquidated. Some still hold. Japan still has quite a few. China has, but they're all reducing. But it means that for the additional requirements that the United States will need, which is in the amount of trillions, there are no buyers except for the Fed itself. So you're issuing money and you're buying your own money, basically. And that's a Ponzi scheme if you've ever seen one. So this is and Europe.
There we go. The Madoff is going to look like a kid's thing with this thing. So you cannot sell, and you can't sell your stuff and buy. It's like me selling a Mantle card and buying it and then saying, look what I got for the Mantle card. Yeah, but if I bought it, I didn't sell it. Unbelievable. All right, so we got that out of there. Okay, let's talk. All right, let's talk a little gold.
People don't realize that. We know that only 0.5% of world financial assets are in gold today. Be a lot more in coming years, that's for certain. But people should think about, the risks that there are. Well, I will pay you a good rate of 3 or 4%, while money's losing value at 10% a year or so. But we'll pay you 3 or 4% for that. And so there'll be a forced saving into U.S. Treasury debt, and potentially that could come in Europe also, because governments need the money, and there are no willing major investors who will put money into the government today, especially not the U.S. government, and therefore I could see that coming. So therefore, again, it's a reason not to keep your savings in a bank. So people don't realize that. We know that only 0.5% of world financial assets are in gold today. Be a lot more in coming years, that's for certain. But people should think about the risks that there are. Actually looking at the enormous risk, and start worrying about protection, Patrick, because if they don't, they're going to be very, very sorry in a few years' time.
Egon, I'd like to ask you, coming up in August, the BRICS are talking about a type of a gold-backed currency. What's your opinion on this?
Patrick, I think that's much too early. It's premature to expect, a number of nations going up to 30 eventually, agreeing on the currency and then agreeing on the gold backing. It doesn't happen that quickly. And it's going to be, anyway, if it happens, a very cumbersome system. So I don't obviously they're going to work towards that, and many of these are commodity-based countries, so they will have a lot of their traders that will be in commodities, and they will have gold there in the background. I don't expect to have a gold-backed currency in the very short term. It's much too complex. But what I expect instead gold to become is the reserve of central banks, the reserve currency, because and that's much more likely, because that's not a consumer thing or backing a currency with gold. It's really backing the central bank reserves with the only money that there is that has a value today. And because they've always held their reserves, central banks, in dollars until now, but nobody except for the U.S. that actually doesn't have any dollars either. They just borrows dollars because of the massive shortage. But otherwise, the U.S. by confiscating sovereign nations' central bank holdings like Russia, and this will be unacceptable to the whole world, or is unacceptable, because why should you hold your money in a currency that can be confiscated by another country? And therefore, and there is, because of the massive need for issuing treasury bonds, and the dollar is going to, and very few buyers of these bonds, the dollar is going to decline more in value, and therefore, therefore holding dollars as your reserves is absolutely crazy. So I see instead that central banks will have gold as their reserve, and between central bankers it would be gold rather than dollars that you hold. And of course, is not, even if the US had 8,000 tons, which I don't think they have, the US government, and China only has officially 2,000, and Russia only 2,000, etc. Germany a bit more, but that's not, that level is not enough to back countries' reserves. So gold will be then revalued by the system. It's not going to be an official revaluation linking it to currency, but because of central banks now are actually backing their balance sheet with real money, gold will be revalued to a level which will be correct for central banks holding gold as a reserve. So I think gold could go up 10 times to 20 times at some point, but not overnight. I don't see it. It's a gradual process as more and more central banks acquire gold and hold gold as a reserve, and then obviously the settlement will be in gold also between central banks. I could see that is more likely to happen in the next few years than a currency being.
So what does that make gold's price 10 to 20 times? 20 times 2,000 is 40,000 an ounce. And I would think silver would be right behind it. Hey, Bobby Bo, you're missing Egon. I'm doing an Egon. I'll replay. Did you catch what happened? Well, she's mad because I asked her if she was Keanu. I says, me and you think she's really Keanu Reeves, not Kenzie Reeves, and she didn't get it. She says, what the fuck are you talking about? Sorry I bothered you. It's a typical scam. Have a great life. I'm having a great life. You got jokes. You ain't ready to meet me either. You did hurt me, and I don't care. How could I hurt you? You've never met me. You've never talked to me. So that's what she's doing, because I said, well, me and you both think she's Keanu Reeves, because you changed it to Kenzie. On another note, it's great to see our boy Egon again speaking facts. He just said he sees gold going up 10 to 20 times. 20 times 2,000 is 40,000. Silver, if we do the same 20 times, is 4,000, I think. 20 times 20. No, that's 400, but it'll get to 110. But anyway, yeah. So I found this Egon one. I'll wrap it up. There's a few minutes left. Dollars, gold, and wealth. So he's on the last subject, but I played most of his meat talking about inflation to go through the roof and the banks to fail, and none of it's done. And I'm thinking about we'll move to Switzerland, because I don't know where else to move to unless we move to Hungary. I don't know. I mean, after watching that last guy saying how Russia is really not such a, Putin's really not such a bad guy. He's put in a corner there. So let me go back a little bit on Egon, just a minute. Okay, and then we'll play a little more Egon.
Is not, even if the US had 8,000 tons, which I don't think they have, the US government, and China only has 2,000, and Russia only 2,000, etc. Germany a bit more, but that's not, that level is not enough to back countries' reserves. So gold will be then revalued by the system. It's not going to be an official revaluation linked to currency, but because of central banks now are actually backing their balance sheet with real money, gold will be revalued to a level which will be correct for central banks holding gold as a reserve. So I think gold could go up 10 times to 20 times at some point, but not overnight. I don't see it as
40,000.
More and more central banks acquire gold and hold gold as a reserve, and then obviously the settlement will be in gold also between central banks. I could see that is more likely to happen in the next few years than a currency being like a phoenix coming overnight, backing the whole of the bricks.
Yeah, but Alligator thinks there will be.
We're talking about having sound monetary system, and that's fantastic, and I'm sure they're going to go in that direction. But I don't see it happening overnight at all. So, but the central banks holding gold as reserves, I think that is an absolutely correct development, and it's a good start building towards a sounder system again. So I think that would be very welcome, and I think it's quite likely that will happen also. It might take some time, but I think it makes sense, so therefore it's very likely that it will happen.
Okay, right. I agree with those things as well. So I guess whichever financial class you may be in, it's good to be having yourself some sort of wealth protection right now for things such as gold.
Definitely. Gold is not, some people say you can't eat gold, but throughout history, in every period of crisis, gold has always become money or been a medium of exchange that people can use, because there will always be a demand for something that has had value for thousands of years, therefore, as long as we don't get to confiscation of gold, there's absolutely, and I don't expect that to happen, not in a lot of countries anyway, because remember that, as I said before, only 0.5% of world financial assets are in gold. So it's such a small thing to confiscate. And people now that hold gold for wealth preservation purposes or investment purposes, they hold it in various countries. It's very difficult to confiscate now. So it's easy to confiscate property or money in the bank, etc., or as I said, force savings into into treasuries, etc. So I still think gold will continue to play that role that it's always had in periods of crisis, and that's why you should always have a bit of your money into gold and silver, of course, also, which silver has obviously massive potential on the upside because of it's very, very oversold in relation to gold now. And whether it's manipulated or not, it doesn't really matter. It's cheap in relation to gold, and therefore some gold and some silver. I mean that's really everybody should hold that, and especially in the times we are expecting currently.
All right, thanks for mentioning silver. I forgot to throw that in the question. I think a lot of people are gonna get mad at me a little bit there, but nonetheless, Egon von Gers, before we head out, can you tell us about Matterhorn Asset Management and Gold Switzerland?
Patrick.
All right, so that's the bottom line, because Stone Egon said so. Buy your gold, buy your silver 20 times. It's not exact, but the central banks having it. He doesn't say Russia with 60,000 tons and China and Russia with 20, or China with 60,000 and Russia with 20. But we get that from Alligator, and we know it's far more. That's why they're going to make the currency. So Egon's just saying, well, it'll happen, but it won't happen overnight. But just the mention of it at BRICS and all these banks going with central bank. And he says he doesn't think the U.S. has any gold, which pretty much we know. So that's the thing. Now, I saw Egon, just to show you, Bobby. I found these Egon ones today. So we did it on his gold. So he's on the Gold Switzerland channel. Then he was on this other one, and then he was on this other one. So they all, you know how YouTube is. Once you find one, they start bouncing up. But it's surprising. The one let's see, he only had 1,000 views, 900 views, 600 views. See, that's the amazing part is he's not even getting 1,000 views, which is why these people are fucking in the dark. Let me play this.
Well, the banking crisis has just started, Jan.
This is a quick one.
The asset prices is contributing to an extremely risky situation within the banking system. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. The loan portfolio is going to fall dramatically. And just take commercial property in any country in Europe, especially in Germany, but even in the US. Those loans are looking very, very ugly. And the commercial property market is coming down rapidly in all countries.
That are extremely pissed off because their standard of living evaporated literally overnight. And that's the reset between East and West is what I think you're going to see.
So anyway, so there's a couple more Egons. Oh, okay, it did that to me.
Rates finally turned up while central banks have been trying to increase or push them up for over 10 years without success. And all of a sudden, they shot up without any central banks understanding what was happening. And now they think with high interest rates, they're going to push them down again. Well, they won't succeed with that either, just like they didn't succeed pushing them up for 10 years. 10 years they could do that. So don't think that they're going to come down next week or next year or whatever. It's going to be. This is a long trend. This is a long trend of rising interest rates. People have to be aware of that, and they will be much higher in my view, and that will put pressure on the economy.
I'm going to tell you the easiest way to make money at home, and you 100% have.
All right, we don't really care about that. So just a few things. I know those questions you asked, Bobby, about interest rates and the mortgages and stuff. It's just going to be a nightmare. Just focus on your gold and silver. That's really all you can do. And just gold goes 20 times is 40,000. He said 10 to 20 times. So that's 20,000 to 40,000. Now it's once again, it's 0.5%. Can you believe in the whole world? This is how good these salesmen are. There's only 0.5% of the assets in the whole world in gold. Can you imagine if it hits 10%? Now, one thing Egon says in one of his videos, he says, if it goes to 1%, there's not enough gold for the demand. So so 0.5%. That's it. So if it goes to 1%, once people realize what's happening, demand will be here. Supply will be down here because there's not enough supply, right? So what happens to price? Goes through the roof. So as 20 people want 10 carats, they can't get it because there's only 10 of them, so they bid it up. So we've got that coming also. So once people wake up to gold and it gets 1%, but I'm expecting 5 or 10%. I'm expecting 20% of the thing would go into gold. Why wouldn't everybody go into gold? So this is what we're fighting. I was talking to, who was I talking to? Somebody at the hot tub. And where was that? Anyway, and the guy was clueless. The guy just had no idea. I was talking to this European guy in the pool. I go, "You got gold yet?" He says, "No, I don't like it." I says, "Where do you got your money in?" Well, he says, "Well, if I buy gold, I got to get a safe." Where's your money? Is it in the bank? Is that safe? Did you take your money out of the bank? Yeah, and what did you put it? In a safe. What a chucklehead. This guy's European. We've talked a lot. and he doesn't get, see, another, I don't get gold. My money's in stocks or my company or whatever. So he's not going to have a company. So basically what you have is people just don't understand it, but they're too childish to open their mind, and they're too, it's like Kenzie. I don't, so they're childish, they don't open their mind, and then they don't understand gold, but they're not comfortable opening their mind up. So they're more comfortable in the Titanic. It won't hit the iceberg. Could you imagine being on the Titanic, knowing what we know, and everybody going, well, it can't sink. It's unsinkable. It's not going to sink. Well, we hit the iceberg. Yeah, it's not going to sink. We'll be fine. I mean, that's about how stupid it is with gold. And that's why I bring up the Titanic so much. Oh, it can't happen. Dude, it happened. It sunk. It's on the bottom of the ocean. In Rome, guess what happened in the Roman Empire? They took all their gold and silver out of the money. They collapsed. The fucking Roman Empire collapsed. So don't think this can't happen. Bobby, Igor. We're calling him Igor. Okay. Igor has a show tomorrow, right? No, Mark McGuire does, who has the Friday Weekly. Yeah, it's Mark McGuire. But it might not be good because he seems like one week he's got a guest, the next week he doesn't. And we like it without the guest because the guest usually some American idiot who, doesn't understand COMEX. So be careful. I was listening to one guy, and I go on to Google and I go, is Joe Blow Keynesian or Austrian? And it kind of said he was Austrian, but at the end, he didn't understand about the price fixing. Where do you see gold going? Well, maybe 2,400, well, it's the chart and everything. And I go, okay, he doesn't understand price fixing. He's not an Austrian. At least we know Egon understands it. See, this is the difference. When you ask Egon about gold, not only does it say you must have it, he says it should go up 10 to 20 times in value. So he doesn't give a price of 40,000. I give you the 50,000 just because we're American, but Egon said 40,000. Alligator has said 40, 50,000. Mark McGuire has said 40, 50,000. So it's not out of character that it's going to go up because of the central banks demanding it. And once the people in America start getting fucked, you think they'd have learned between Enron and Madoff and the housing crisis to not trust this anymore. I don't understand people. They are like the biggest idiots. Well, we had 2008. Yeah, but we're okay from it. No, we're not. We never recovered from it. It was all a bank bailout, but the banks aren't going to be able to bail us out because this is worth nothing. Egon said this is 99% done. So there's 1% left. I'll look more specific on the other videos. I watched all three of them today, the three long ones, and I got some notes on key areas, but I got to figure them out. I wonder if his next guest is going to be Sammy Sosa. Well, it probably could be, or it could be Barry. I'm not sure. What's up with the alligators? Is he on vacation or something? He's swimming in the Everglades. He's out by you. No, well, I saw him on like a week ago, but I don't know where I saw him. Yeah, I saw him 12 days ago here. So I watched this one a couple times. Then for you, Bobby, I got this one, the Ric Flair versus The Rock, 9-minute one. The Rock gets the W. It's like 2002. Good match. Then I got a few of this. I don't know. According to him, Russia can't lose. It's just a matter of time. They don't want to hurt the Ukrainian. Like, they don't want to hurt China. because they're figuring on blending them in, like Russia taking over the Ukraine and the people. He doesn't want to kill the people. He doesn't really want to kill a lot of buildings or something, although he got the dam, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Well, we'll watch for alligator this weekend. Anyway, I'll do the Egon one again. So I think I watched. Well, probably the one that's going. I probably watched. I think we just watched that one for 32 minutes. So it's.
But and especially in the time.
So this one's 51 minutes. Jesus Christ.
This is great.
So this one's like 50 minutes, so I'll rewatch that. But I got minute 17 and minute 25. And basically he just talks about the money's paper. This is absolutely worthless. And then it's the same thing I say. So it's kind of good when Igor agrees with us versus these other idiots that are just clueless. But we know what's coming. And now it's just, that's why I tell you, buy as much as you can, because you don't know if, like this BRICS thing, they start announcing the central banks and now they're going to revalue gold. What are you going to do when it's 40,000 an ounce? Okay, he says it's not going to happen right away, but what if it does? Or what if it comes up and it's 20,000 an ounce? What are you going to? How many ounces are you going to buy now at 20,000? I'm not going to buy any. At 40, I start selling a little bit, but at 20, I don't. Well, I probably won't sell too much. I might sell one, but basically it's not. These are really sell later, not as long as I'm working and the dollar's good, I'll just keep holding it. But if I need to sell, I will. Yeah, the Rock Flair match is a good one. He's wooing all over the place. Funny but crazy thing is that Ric Flair actually wants to come back once again for one more match, and fans are begging him not to at age 74. I guess he was sick and he's in the hospital, and Hogan was there to see him. I guess they're buddies. And Hogan says how much alcohol Flair drinks. He says he goes to the bar and he treats everybody like Flair's got to be the guy. So he's got to have people like him. So he thinks that you'll like me is if I buy you a drink, then you'll like me. So he drinks and he drinks and he drinks, but he's always drinking. And Hogan said, I never seen him drink water. He's always vodka or whiskey or whatever, or beer. So he's in the hospital with some heart attack and all with the alcohol, and he regains consciousness, and he goes to Hogan, can you get me a 6-pack? And Hogan's like, Rick, you just had an operation because your insides are gutted from all the alcohol, and you want a 6-pack? So Flair's idea is, I'm going out anyway, might as well have a 6-pack, and Hogan's didn't get him one, but that was a while ago. So I don't know. Crazy man, Ric Flair. But there was an interview, and the question for Hogan is, are you surprised, like, you're still alive? Like Macho Man's dead. Although Macho Man died of an accident in the car. He didn't die from health. Like Andre died from health, and a lot of the other guys died from health issues, steroids probably. And Hogan said, well, I kind of was, since I was the man, I would always have to be in better shape. So he said, that's why he's still alive, I guess. But wrestling's got to be tough. I mean, you're on the road all the time, and you're drinking and taking steroids to keep your shape, and then you're taking drugs to get up for the matches and everything. Then you're taking all these painkillers after the match. So, yeah, it's a very tough on your body. And then you got these big, heavy guys that are way out of shape, diabetics probably, So they can't handle that. So that's probably why a lot of those big heavy ones, they start to. You can't be a diabetic and drink and take these pills. I'm sure that killed them. Yeah, I saw an interview where he said that he drank 15 drinks a night for like 29 years. Yeah, something like that. He actually lives out here in Tampa now and is a regular at multiple ball. Well, if you want to get some drinks, go on out there. Just give me a call. We'll go meet him and we'll hang and bang with them. And he can take turns putting us in figure fours, and we'll have to figure out how to get out of them. It's hysterical. I could see him too. I could see him putting us in a figure four and then going woo, strutting and going woo, and then we'd hit him, and then he'd do that fake where he leaned and falls over like 20 minutes later. But that's a star. See, that's why you would go see wrestling. Now I don't even know any of these guys, and this is the problem in all sports. I don't know any baseball players. Verlander and Scherzer. McCullough's looking, or McClanahan. I don't know. I can't name 5 players. And then you have football, okay, Mahomes and Burrow. Basketball, okay, a little bit. Hockey, I don't know any players. And see, that's the thing. When you have a Mickey Mantle and a Bobby Orr and a Jim Brown and a Montana and Lawrence Taylor, you watch, right? You would watch for that. In baseball, when Bobby would come up, or Barry would come up, and Bobby too. When Barry would come up, you'd stop what you were doing, see if he was going to hit a home run, and you booed when he walked. But that's what you don't have now. You don't have that interest in it. And they keep trying to sell soccer. Like, dudes, we don't give a fuck about soccer. Sorry. I don't care. I never will. It's a boring sport. Then they're trying to bring in the women's soccer. Like, okay, it's even worse with women NBA, women's soccer. I don't care. The only women's sport I'll watch is golf a little bit, at Pebble Beach or something. But even that, I'm you don't have that star. Yeah, he falls face first. They suck now. They don't have the charisma like Flair, Stone Cold, The Rock, Hogan, Macho Man. And baseball was great on the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s, but well, that's the problem. So what does baseball do? I guess all their good players are going basketball. Now, Dave Winfield was drafted for the Vikings and somebody in the NBA and baseball. And he played for the Yankees in San Diego, but they're losing all their players to basketball, probably more than football. I see a lot of Latin Americans who can't even speak English, and you can't even pronounce it. Look at Cabrera. He's been in the Tigers 15 years. He can't speak English. Yeah, I'm going to go and see this guy. So, I mean, you don't have the star appeal, which is what made you go out. You would go out in the 60s to see Mantle and Koufax and Gibson and all those guys. You would go to the park to see them. The Orioles, Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Jim Palmer, those guys. And the Pirates had Clemente and Star Joel before you, Bobby. But, I mean, and then Barry came and you, and then McGuire, and then they fucked up with the steroid shit and Clemens. So, I mean, you would go see the player, and honestly, I can't. They're trying to make Ohtani a big deal because he pitches and plays outfield, and as I've said, they're all fucked up. You do one or the other. There's no way Ohtani should be pitching and playing the outfield. Either he's a pitcher, or if he can hit that well, he should be a right fielder. You cannot pitch him. I said before, I looked in the stats. I don't know if you saw that, Joe Bobby, and I said I would trade him. I would take a pitcher from Houston and like Berkman and Altuve for Ohtani, and I'd rather have Brinkman and Altuve and one of their pitchers in a trade. Then it gives me 3. I'd rather have those than Ohtani, where he's a pitcher and a hitter. I'd much rather have the full chessboard. Like I say with Lamar, Lamar, and it sounds like Fields and Stroud and Richardson are all going to be the same. They're playing without rooks and bishops. Good luck winning a chess game without all your pieces. I mean, what does Burrow do? And what does Mahomes do? Mahomes hits his Kelsey's the knight. He's got his bishops. He's got Chocolate Eclair and Pacheco as his rooks. He runs so he can hand off to the rooks, or he can hit his bishops, and he can hit his knight and Kelsey. He's playing the whole board, and Lamar Jackson doesn't have bishops, doesn't have rooks. He wants to be the rook and the bishop at the same time, and he can't hit the broadside of a barn. I almost drove off the road today. Somebody was saying that Fields could be up for the MVP, and you're like, wait, you want me to listen to your show and you're coming up with that bullshit? He can't throw the ball 20 yards to the right side, to the right teammate. How the fuck is he going to be MVP with 2 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, but he'll run for 1,500 yards? You know how many, okay, here's the Chicago Bear trend. Chicago against Green Bay, play against Chicago 15-2. I did the trends earlier, Bobby. So just to go through it, Detroit's the trend, Carolina's the trend, Houston's the trend, Tampa Bay and Minnie and Tennessee and Green Bay and Miami and the over, and Philadelphia and Seattle are the trends based on the trend. If I look at, they're a good road dog, they're a good road favorite, they're good to play, they're good against. That's what I came up with. But again, these are down to like where they used to be 75% of my pick are now down to maybe 20% of my pick. I still look at them, but now I'm like defense, quarterback. Who the fuck's the quarterback for Carolina going to be? Bryce Young? I mean, fuck, you got to be kidding me. Baseball was great on the 89 early. Jeter and a few of those guys were the last of that breed, and they retired about 10 years ago. And you, Bobby. Yeah, well, that's Alex Rodriguez. Again, the steroids really killed it because everybody's crying steroid. What do you think Mantle didn't do? He drank alcohol every day. He came to the games drunk. I mean, what's the difference? Steroids did not help your hand-eye coordination. Alcohol hurt it. So I don't get what the big deal is about steroids. Okay, it didn't make McGuire and Sosa hit the ball, hit their hand-eye coordination any better. It bulked them up a little bit, but they used it in wrestling, and you'd still go see the wrestling. But it's like all of that died for some reason. So in the 90s and the 2000s, you had your football. You had Marino and Elway and Montana, and then you had Barry and Emmett, Lawrence Taylor, and then you had, like you said, Jeter and those guys, Rodriguez. Basketball had Jordan. And then it's like Steph Curry's a shooter. I'm not going to run out to any basketball game. The Pistons can't even draft. The Pistons, Bill Lambert was drafted in the 13th round by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then he goes to the Pistons about 5-6 years later. And that's the whole thing. I got a card that I need to show you. So I was on eBay today, checking out our shit. Take a look at this Tom Brady rookie card. $5 million. And it's got 21 days, 23 hours, 500 for shipping. This is I've never seen this card before. It's a Dunrose Elite PSA 10, and they only made 10 of them. $5 million. Now, I don't know what he's going to get. this is an auction starting at 5 million. But can you imagine a Brady rookie only made 10, which is numbered. So there's the number, 5 of 10. Why does it do that? So right there, 5 out of 10. So you got a serial number. They only made 10 of these motherfuckers. It's graded PSA 10. Gem Mint 10 PSA. 5 million. Now, is this? Oh, it's in Livonia. I could buy it and go get it. From the card guy, 2,106 feedback, 100% positive, so you're not worried about it. Unbelievable. So when you tell me Bitcoin's limited, what do I tell you? This is limited. A 10 count Brady rookie, graded PSA 10, 5 million fucking dollars. Are you kidding me? So anyway, there's a huge difference between fucking up the card with an autograph and letting it go. I saw there was something I was looking at, and it was like, autograph a couple thousand, and then if you didn't get the autograph, it was a lot more. I think it was the Brady Bowman Chrome, but I can't find a refractor, and those were going for 10 grand. The Bowman Chrome PSA 10s. So a lot of them were autographed. Purely idiots. There was like 2 grand for the autograph, 10 grand without the autograph, and I got the refractor, which I still haven't seen, which is probably 80, 90 grand. Anyway, so it's unbelievable how $5 million for a 10 count. That shows you supply and demand right there, right? So once gold hits 1% of the assets, right now it's 0.5%. If it goes to 1, they don't have enough gold for it all. Can you imagine? If it just goes to 1%, there's not enough gold, and the central banks have a lot of it. We're gonna. I don't even know what Now, if I had $5 million, would I buy the Brady card? Or would I buy 5 million of gold? So let's say we're the Canadian, and the Canadian's got 400,000. He can't even. This is 5 million. He can't even buy it. He's maybe buying. Well, here's one I saw. 100 ounces of gold for 194,000. Would you do that? That I could see doing. So it's like 1940 an ounce, 122 American Gold Eagles, 1 ounce. And again, it's not an investment, it's security. So I don't know, but here, like today, so it's going for Maple Leaf, and these get adjusted as the price, 2045, the Cougar 2040, and the Eagle 2074. Now, because we're in the U.S., the Eagle gets a little bit more, but at the end of the day, look at the Maple Leaf and Cougar. Yet if I go to my guy's store, Cougar cheaper than the Maple Leaf, but I can come on here and get the same price. So stay away from SD Bullion, Bobby. They're a ripoff. Anyway, I saw the Brady, and I had to show you $5 fucking million. I'll keep it up to date. I don't know how you're going to get a bid on this. I'm surprised it's not or best offer. So there's 3 types of, you have the auction, you have the buy it now, and then there's buy it now or best offer. I can't believe this isn't best offer. What if I want to offer him $4.5 million for? There's 10 of them in their mark. Well, Bitcoin only has 21 million. Are they numbered? Do we really know Bitcoin's 21 million? No, because there's not even coins to mark. Those B coins should be the Bitcoins. And then they could be numbered to 21 million. Can you imagine putting the 21 million on the back of the coin like they did 5 out of 10 here? This is why the Montana rookie's 100,000. There's probably only 100 or 200 PSA 10s. Same with the Rice, same with the Peyton. All those ones I showed you, there's probably not 100, maybe 200 of them not numbered that are PSA 10s. They're very, very limited. But once we got into this, and it's because of me, I'm at a card show talking to a Beckett guy, and I said 2 things. This should be run like the stock market, and 2, these are way too heavily produced. You need to make them more limited. And he listened to me, and they tried a stock market, but it didn't work. You need money makers in it. But he did come out with the number cards. That's how you're seeing the 5 of 10. This was in the late 90s. This is a 2000 or 2001 rookie card. So it's because of me that we have limited cards and numbered cards. So we would know. I said, then they're limited, there'll be more action. And everybody came out with limited. Then there'd be, 100 counts, and then the 25 counts, and then the 10 count. I have the 101 Iserman I've shown you. Man, maybe I could get 5 million for the 101 Iserman, you think? It says 101. It's right fucking there. I got to try that. But it's not graded. Do you really need the card graded if it's 101? I mean, it's the only card there is. Like this one. Why did you need it graded PSA 10? There's only 10 of them. I've never even heard of it before. So what if you had one that was not graded? What would you ask for it? This is 5 million. What are you going to ask for? 3 million? Well, it's not graded, but it's in gem mint condition. Why would you get it graded? Why would you get a 10 count card graded? Why should I get this Iserman 1 of 1 card graded? It's insane. I don't need it graded. What am I going to get it graded for? It's the only card that exists. It's numbered 1 of 1. You can't. If it's a 9, it won't matter. The Trish Speaker 1906. There's only 7 of them, and it's a PSA 2, and it gets $10 million. I was looking at a few games for college football, like the one weekends, NC State, UConn, and Louisville, Georgia Tech. Okay, are your coins? Did you want to talk about those? Are your coin store coins brand new or previously owned? Well, obviously, if I got a 1990 Cougaran or a 2018 Eagle, of course they're previously owned. Even if I were to make my order and give him 10 grand and I get 5 Eagles and he orders it from the mint, I think they're those might be newly minted. But if you want to it doesn't matter. I think you need to buy a proof, would be not owned, right? So a proof has never been touched. And but they're more expensive. Do you want to pay more for a proof Eagle? Does it really fucking matter? No, you want the ounce of gold. You don't really care. I don't know the reason of the question, Bobby. All the silver is previously owned, but it's the condition. I mean, when I show you my gold, it doesn't even matter. You can't destroy gold. You can't melt it. You can't cook it. You can't freeze it. There's nothing you can do. If you watch Money Heist, they melted the gold into nuggets, then they melted it back into bricks. You cannot destroy gold. It's indestructible. So if you have it and you got it in a nice little container, I don't really understand the point of the question. How about those coins that say uncirculated? Well, to me, an uncirculated one's never been touched. But who gives a fuck? Again, we're buying an ounce of gold because it's worth 2,000, and when it goes up 20 times per Egon and it goes to 40,000, you're buying the ounce of gold. See, we're not buying it. The Brady card, okay, this we're buying because it's a PSA 10 for $5 million. But this, I don't know that a 10 count needs to be graded. If we go, let's go to Jim Brown. Now, Jim Brown is a PSA 9. I do have that card, and I hope I can get 15,000 for it. I have the card ungraded, but there you go. It's a mint 9. He gets 15.5 for it. So that then you want the grading, right? You want to say, look, it's in this great condition. Then I'll be willing to give you 15 grand. I know it's an authentic card, and I know it's in really good condition. Here's 15,000 for it. The gold, you're buying an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver. You don't really care. You're not buying condition. Now, if it's all scratched up, it's one thing. But if it's just, you go to the coin store and there's an ounce of gold and it looks fucking shiny and you're like, okay, that's all you care about. You're not really, I want it to look pretty, but I'm not trying to buy uncirculated. Again, the ounce of gold, let's say it's 40,000, like Egon said. It's worth 40 grand. It's not, it's the ounce of gold. It's not, is it scratched or is it a PSA 10? It's worth more. Now they have, I could get an MS 70. MS 70 in coins is PSA 10 in cards. So I could get an MS 70 ounce of gold, but it really wouldn't be worth any more. It'd be worth, let's say it's $2,000. It'd be worth the $2,000 plus the grading. Let's say the grading was $75. So I'd get $2,075 for it. But why am I paying for the grading? I'm not paying because it's an MS-70 for gold. Maybe on an older Mercury dime. If I got an MS-7 1930 Mercury dime, absolutely that would be worth more because now it's turned into a Jim Brown. So this, the Brown card we're buying for collectible. This, we're not buying for the collectible. We're not buying it. We're buying the gold. And the only way we can get the gold is either Goldfinger, a nice big gold bar, or these coins. We chose the coins because I can't afford a big Goldfinger bar. Although I do have a quarter-ounce bar, a little quarter-ounce bar, but generally we're buying gold, and the only way you can buy it is the coins. It's the most convenient. I go to the coin store. Here's $2,000. Give me the ounce, and I'm done with it. And that's really what I'm trying to do is buy it. However, if you're going to buy the Brady or the Jim Brown or the Montana, you want the Montana rookie. It's PSA 10, and if it's PSA 10, it's 110,000. The Jerry Rice card's 133 for the PSA 10. That you want graded because the better the grade, the more you're going to make for it. PSA 9 Rice, you're probably getting 10 grand for it. The PSA 10's 133. So then it matters the grade because then it's better condition. We don't care about condition on gold and silver. We just want to have the gold and silver. And as long as it looks pretty, yeah, it's a nice shiny silver and gold. Doesn't have to be uncirculated. Cool Hand Luke, how are you? How's Philadelphia and everything? I remember Luke. Yep. Should I keep my 3% match that my company gives me on my 6% investment 401k, putting into the mutual funds they offer? Of course, no gold options. Well, you're in a real catch-22, Luke, because they're giving you 3%. Now they're tying up that money. So your money is in danger. Now what I did a show, and you can go back, the Titanic versus gold. So imagine this is the Titanic, and it hit the iceberg, and it's sinking, and it goes to the bottom of the ocean. But here's the gold boat. It can't sink. It hits the iceberg sinks, not the gold boat. So your problem is you're risking this going to zero. You're getting 3% of nothing. So your 6% buys you this, and the 3% is this. You still hit the iceberg and it's still going zero. Watch earlier in the show, I did an Egon talks about this stuff, and he's just saying it's all going to zero, where your gold won't. So in the long run, so he said that the banks are going to offer a good percent to buy bonds, and the banks will offer you to buy annuity. Like they offered me 9% in an annuity. I told them to fuck themselves. I would not. I says, but I'd still be in paper dollars. I want to be in gold. They couldn't understand that comprehensions, the guys at the bank, and I just laughed at him. And then he pulls some, he starts talking like Keynesian, and I don't really pay attention to it. He started talking about elastic and inelastic. I says, I don't know what the fuck that is. I know it's Keynesian, but I don't really care. All I look at is the market. Is there demand or not for prices? So, I mean, what I would do, Luke, I don't even take a 401k. I don't want to get matched. I don't want my money out of my sight. So I get paid with zero 401k and zero matched. And I take the money, like next Thursday, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to the gold store. I'll buy another ounce or two of gold. I would rather own the gold because I know Egon says 10 to 20%. Let's say 10%. That's 20,000 in gold, in money. This is deteriorating to zero. It's already like 99% down. That's why I do this. So this is all that's left of like $100 bill is this little bit. So if you think about it logically, why do I want to own dollars that are losing value? I'd rather be in gold and silver. I don't even want to be in stocks because they're about to crash. And so another guy, Alistair McLeod, says it's all the foreign investment, the Germans, the English, the Russians, the Chinese, the Japanese, have for safe haven, they got out of their currencies and they got stocks and bonds and money in the bank, houses in America in US dollars for safe haven. But once they realize that the US dollar is not a safe haven and it's going to zero, they're going to pull all their money out for safety, and they're going to buy gold, or they're going to just bring it back in to British pounds and euros and yen, or they're just going to buy gold with it. And the bottom line is, once that happens, and that's happening fairly soon, once people realize what's happening to the dollar, and this bank making the credit go down is not a good sign for it. If you really understand what's happening, we just said it's risky. So that's not a good sign. So it's how the foreigners read it. If they go, fuck, my money's in trouble, they're going to pull their money out. And when they pull their money out, Katie barred the door, the stock market is going to go boom. It's going to go down. So, the housing market's already started. And so once that happens, your Microsoft stock at 120 is now $25. So if you're in your 401k in Microsoft and Apple and the usual suspects, you ain't going to have a value left. So you're getting 6%, but you're getting 6% of zero. And they're matching 3%, but they're matching 3%. You want to get out of this game. We know it's hit the iceberg. We know the water's coming in. We've seen it. We've got huge inflation. Watch my Egon says. He says, no, it's not coming down. It's going up. It's going to go up. Interest rates are going to go up. Recession's here. You're fucked in this. We already know that. I've been saying this for 2 years now, at least. I don't know, maybe 3. Once Biden took office and started printing like hotcakes, that's the end of it. And I looked around and I says, where should I put my money? So my INFJ kicked in, and it was like, well, you got to get out of dollars. But when I started looking at the other currencies, I couldn't go anywhere. So I got into gold and silver, and I cashed in over 100,000 into gold and silver. So I'd much rather have my money in gold and silver, waiting for it to go up, than keeping it in this shit, knowing that it's hit the Titanic, knowing it's sinking, waiting for everybody else to realize that the boat's sinking. So if you watch the movie Titanic, what happens? They get warnings about the icebergs. They ignore. The guy doesn't have his binoculars. They hit it, and everybody acts like nothing happened. Bring tea to my room. And then the ship starts sinking. It still hasn't sunk in yet. Oh, it's an unsinkable ship. It can't go down. Like I said, that's what the Romans thought. We're the Roman Empire. We can't go out. So even though they hit the iceberg, it still took time for them to register. We've hit the iceberg, and now people haven't had the time to register yet that we're fucked, because we're the U.S. We've never been fucked. You never had a guy like Biden running it, and all these idiots running the country are run by like children. They're not run by people. If I was running the financial system, you wouldn't have a problem. We'd be on gold so fast your head would swim. We'd all be having nice houses and nice cars and boats, and the economy would be going through the roof with me. I would not allow inflation, and we'd all have gold. But I'm not running it. People like Keynesians, who are idiots, are running our government into the ground. It's sort of like watching the Tigers play baseball, or the Lions. They suck, and we're watching them into the ground, and that's it. And you wonder why they're in last place, can't win a game. That's basically what it is. So you have bad management. You have Biden, who's an idiot. You got all these Keynesian, Then I hear Jerome Powell isn't even a finance guy. He's an attorney. What the fuck? He's an attorney and he's running the Fed? Why would you have an attorney running the Fed? That's like having me be in charge of the builders. I don't know anything about building a house. Why would I be in charge? So, Bobby, we touched on the uncirculated. Really, it just means not touched, not proof. Proofs are never touched into a case. The uncirculateds are not supposedly touched, but just go buy a nice shiny ounce of gold and silver and you'll be fine. Luke, I like the mining stocks. I think the silver gold miners will catapult when the DXY drops. USD will not go away overnight. I do already have 20% in physical. That's good. USD will not go away overnight. Are you sure? Do you understand why it will go away? What will drive it down? What drives anything out of the market? Demand. If you have no demand for my Canadian club, it becomes worth. Nobody wants it. If I can, I'll sell it to you for $10 and I don't get a buyer. $5, no buyer. I don't have a market. I don't have a price. I don't have a product. You got 40 countries saying, I don't want the dollar. I'm de-dollarizing. I don't need it. I want to go into this gold that the BRICS are having. And all these countries are getting into BRICS. You don't have demand for this. Because if you play with the U.S. is the big bully. They go, you know what? We'll lend you the money, but under these conditions. Oh, Russia, you're going to war. We're going to sanction you. And China, we're going to sanction you. And Zimbabwe, you're trying to come out with a gold-backed coin to save your country. We're going to sanction you, and we're not going to trade with you, and we're not going to buy your products. So basically, it's like Cuban cigars. The U.S. will not buy Cuban goods. You can get them in Canada. So if everybody played the U.S.'s game and nobody bought, let's say, the Cuban cigars, they're worthless because nobody will buy them. And if nobody buys them, there's no market. Sort of like electric cars. Electric cars are here, the demand's there, they can't sell them. I keep seeing these stories. Tesla lowers their price. Ford lost $6 billion on electric cars they can't sell. There's a big stack up in the dealerships with electric cars. Nobody wants them. There's no market. The fuck would you want an electric car for? What am I going to go from Philadelphia? I'm going to drive from Detroit to Philly. Well, let me see. If I have my Camry, I can fill up here and probably take the Ohio Turnpike and get into Pennsylvania. I'm sure I can find gas stations there and then pull into Philadelphia in a day or two. I got an electric car. Geez, Luke, I don't know. I mean, where am I going to find on the Ohio and Pennsylvania Turnpikes electric chargers? And I'm going to go 100 miles and not see anything. I'm going to freak. I'm going to pee in my pants. What if I can't? How am I going to charge the car? What if the battery dies? What if it catches on fire? I mean, you have all these worries. How far can I go? Then I was reading, if you're trying to tow something. So let's say I have a boat I'm towing to Luke and we're going to go fishing and boating. Well, wait, that I won't get 300 miles. I'll get only 100 miles and I'll have to charge it more because now I'm carrying more weight. Well, fuck, how am I going to get this electric car? So why would I want one? What is the benefit of it? There's no benefit of an electric car because you're going to charge it more and it's going to be slower. So you're going to spend 10 hours of the drive, A, looking for a charging station, and then B, sitting there charging it for 6-7 hours. Yeah, I really want one of those when I have a gas-powered car here. I do already have 25% in physical. Let's compare notes. I got 95% in physical. I got 90% in gold and silver. And the only thing I don't have is this card, which isn't graded. That's in my safe. I got a 1-on-1 Iserman, not great. I got a Mantle. I got an Ore, 68 Ore, 68 Mantle. I got a bunch. I was just looking at a 68. Here, I got a Drew Brees San Diego rookie card. There's a Peyton, man. I got cards coming out of this is my diversification. Gold and silver and these boys is my diversification. I have a couple grand in the bank. Oh, here we go. Look how off-center, and this is the best Walter Payton I could find. This is his rookie card 76. This is an 80. This is an 84. This is an 84 Payton. You can't find it centered. This is pretty fucking good, but look at this is the best centering I could get. I probably could get a PSA 8 out of this. It's really bad up and down. You can see up and down's terrible. Otherwise, it's a really good card. It's in great condition, just the centering. And that's what you dealt with. That's why if you find this in a 10, it's probably worth $20,000, $30,000. This card's probably worth $500. What else? Here for you, Nick, I got a Fred Blitnikoff. This is a 78 Raider card, Blitnikoff. You can see it's off center, left to right, but the condition itself is very good. The corners are sharp, the pitcher's sharp, it's Blitnikoff. But to get these 70 cards centered, it's very hard. Even the 80s, the Montana and the Rice and the Elway. Oh, here you go. I got, is this the Marino rookie? No, this is 86. His rookie was 84, but so even here, now this is, I got the 86 Rice. This is pretty fucking good centered wise. This probably is a 10. It's good condition. I always got good corners. It was always the centering. So this is a really good centered card. But I mean, we can go down the list. Here you go. There's an Iceland Swan. 77, Lynn Swan. So you can see the method to my madness. Now, this is a little off center, but otherwise it's in really good shape. Now what did I do? I bought Steelers and I bought Raiders and I bought 60s Packers. That was the method. I know Lynn Swan, I can go to Pittsburgh and sell this card, get it. I can't get a 10 on it because it's off center. Maybe I can get a 9. Maybe I can get a 9. It's a real mint card except for the centering. So I get a 9. I can go to Pittsburgh. I'll get 20 grand for it, right? So, I mean, let's see. Here's a nice card. This is a Charles Woodson rookie card. And is this a refractor? No, this isn't a refractor, but this is his rookie card. There should be no reason. Well, it's really shiny. It's really causing this. But you can see that it's a shiny card. It's fucking perfectly centered. By the time this is a 1990 something comes out, they're all centered. This is perfectly mint. It went from the card show right into the plastic. And that's where all my cards, all the good cards did. This is probably worth 1,500 PSA 10, which it should get. But I mean, this is my diversification, Luke. Here's a nice Randy Moss rookie card. Prestige. It's not numbered, but it's Randy Moss's rookie card. So another 3,000-4,000. It should be a 10. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't buy scratch. There's no centering issues, so it's just the corners were sharp. The card was sharp. Definitely should be a PSA 10. Should be $3,000-4,000. But that's basically what I did. See, then here's a Franco Harris. Boom. I don't know about Philadelphia, Luke, but in Pittsburgh, I'm sure I could go there and make a few dollars. Do you think the entire stock market will crumble? Yes. I think back in the 1930 Great Depression, the gold stocks went insane leverage. They went up or down. By the way, love Bobby Bowe. I'm from Pitt, and he was my favorite back. Quit kissing Bobby's ass or give him a big head. I like the cards. Good investment for sure. Now here's where I started getting into numbered ones. So this, you can see this whole thing is out of 99. So now they started numbering them. This is a Terrell Davis. I got this probably for $5, but you can see there's no problem centering. The corners are sharp. It's a 10. Most of the cards, once I got here, were 10s. Now, what I would do, this is a 90 now. So this is like a subset of the sets. I didn't even care about the set anymore. I would go after this. So I see 99, so I'd go get Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Jerry Rice, Montana, Marino, Elway, Rice. That would be my normal. I'd pick up those 6 or 7 superstars, all 99. And that's what I would do. There's a Joe Montana 89 score. Now, not worth much, maybe $100 PSA 10, but you can see it's perfectly centered. It should get good value. It's Joe Montana. I probably paid $2 for it. Comes back PSA 10, probably 100 or 2. Just because it's a score. It's the Montana. Score was a very limited set. I got the Barry rookie. In here was the Barry rookie, about 2,000. The Aikman rookie, about 1,000. The Deion Sanders rookie, the Derek Thomas rookie, the Thurman Thomas rookie, and Michael Irvin rookie. There was about 10 good rookies in here. And they're all in this perfect condition, and they're all in the plastic. As soon as I'd go to the show, it's like what I do with the coins. I go buy the gold. I get them in the hard plastics and I throw them in the safe. Same thing here. I'd get them. I would frame them up if they weren't in frames. And so what I did was I said, I got to go forget the set. At first I wanted to get the sets and complete them. Then it became, no, just get Montana, get Merino, get Rice, get Mantle, get Orr. And that was basically it. Now this card is worth a lot of money. This card's worth $1,000, 10. This is a 1982 Topps. It's a Montana Ken Anderson league leader passing. You can see this is very good centering. Otherwise, I'm sure the card's mint. You can see by the back. There's no stains. It's really good. The corners are solid. I believe this goes for about $700 or $800. Ken Anderson was okay, but it's Montana, and how many people have this, and then in this condition. So that's basically what I went after. Then I did this. So 1984, what did I do? I started getting like the rest of the Steelers. So Franco, and then I got Bradshaw, and then I got Jack Lambert, and I got Jack Ham, and Mel Blount, and Swan and Stallworth, if Swan was still there. And, right down the list. And I did the same with the 68 Packers. The only Packer I didn't get that I kind of chagrined was Paul Hornung. I got the 59 Bart Starr. I got a 59 Jim Brown, and then I got the Bart Starr and the Unitas. Pretty good condition. I still bitch I didn't get the Hornung. I didn't know he was that good, but then, I should have got the Hornung. But those are such emotional cards. The 60 Packers, the 70 Steelers, the 70 Dolphins. I didn't like the Dolphins. The 70 Raiders. Really, Dallas. Staubach, Tony Dorsett, but really they didn't have much. Bob Lilly maybe, but it was the Steelers. And then in the 80s, it was the Niners, and then Lawrence Taylor, Ronnie Lott. So that's how you collect, but you do that in everything. So you do it with girls, you do it with poker, you do it with cards, you do it with gold. You look for the star, and that's what you go after. The star will give you the most value. I want Franco Harris. Why would I get some guy on the Lions, right? Mel Farr or whatever. So if you would go after the star, that's where the value is. So you don't necessarily go after the hot girl like Kenzie. You go after the star girl, the one that gives you the best value for your buck, the one that takes care of you. Bobby, you getting a big head listening to Luke? What you think was the best brand back then? I remember they had Upper Deck. They all were overproduced. That's why I went into the rookie cards. So the 89 score rookie was good, but the 90 scores were terrible. And in the 80s, it was mostly Topps, unless you did your 86 Flair, which I think I went through. Where is that? I thought I had some. Here you go, Bobby. 1968 Dick Buckus. It's off center, but it's the best I could find. And I got John Brody, and I got Lenny Dawson. You can see it was, and I looked. This is the best center. Now the card itself is in good shape. Corners are sharp, pitcher's sharp, but I couldn't. That's why if you ever see a 68 Buckus 10, it'll cost you $50,000 because there can't be more than 50 of them, because the way Topps did it, they were fucking off center. But that was it. In 68, there was Topps. In the 70s, there was Topps. In the 80s, Topps, and then Flair started coming in. I always like the logo. So here's John Brody. I like the 49er logo. I always like the cards with the logos. This one's fairly centered. This is not too bad. And then Lenny, I too bad they didn't have a Hank Stram. This is a pretty good centered card also. But I love the logo there. So that was it for me. It's like, yeah, I got to get that. So I was always 68 had the 65 baseball. Then I got this is a 68. This is the Topps, Alex Delvecchio. I got the Bobby Orr in this. Love the hockey stick. Again, the logo. And I think I got Gordie Howe in this too. This isn't worth that much, but he was a wing, and I probably got it for $5, so I bought it. I wanted to show you. This is a shame, Bobby. This card's not worth more. This is his 86 rookie, Berries. And, I mean, this should be worth $5,000. How he's not in the Hall of Fame is it's fucking nuts. So I'm missing out all this value. I went and got I got the Barry Bonds rookie in this. What is this? This is 86 Flair baseball. Perfect conditions. Fucking not worth anything because they think he did steroids. Let's see. Thought I had some baskets. I do have his rookie card. This is a 1975 Topps Reggie. Very good condition. I think probably an 8, a little bit dinged. I have his rookie card, which is worth a ton. The one I got that's worth a ton is the Ricky Henderson rookie card. It's worth like $100,000. I don't know why. Here you go, Bobby. 65 Koufax. This is not the good one. This is the one off-centered. So I bought it. It was really cheap. It's off-center. And then I got a perfect one. And so I bought a second one that's perfectly centered. That is at least a 9. Yeah, you can see it's out. And this is Topps' problem. Look at the centering problem. And this is after looking for a month for 65s. I didn't really care who I got, but I did get Mays. I got Aaron. I got Pete Rose, Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Roger Maris, and then Bob Gibson, and then Koufax. I got a lot of Koufax and Clementis for some reason. Damn. Here you go. 86 Flair baskets. I got all the big ones. I just looked today. Magic PSA 10's $5,000. Larry PSA 10's $5,000. Kareem PSA 10 $5,000. I couldn't find a Jordan. It's probably up there with the Brady card at $5 million. These are extremely hard to get centered. Not in good condition, but centered. This is one of the nicest centered ones I got. This will be worth $1,000 PSA 10. I got Isaiah. I got Barkley, the doctor. See, now you just say the doctor, I'm talking Dr. J. Now, if you said doctor, you wouldn't know who the fuck I was talking about. So you can see this had terrible centering problems. I got an Elijah rookie that is that's perfectly centered. That's my showcase. But you didn't have cards, and I still cringe. I didn't buy the Magic. There's one card, the 3 holder. There's Magic, Bird, and Dr. J. It was like a scoring leader card. It's $50,000, and I that's the only card I cringe because I looked for Magic rookies, and he was with Bird, and it had to be $1,000, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to spend that. Fucking idiot, right? But that's what happens. And my only Wilt Chamberlain card it's probably not worth anything because it's a 2000. What is this? This is 2007 bullshit. But it's my only Wilt card, so I had to get it because I had to get a Wilt card. I'd imagine the Wilt rookie is really expensive. But again, that's what you go after. If you go after that, now this is a card that I don't understand. There's no value on. Fucking a Greg Maddox. I think it's his rookie. No, he might have been. No, he's in the 87. I have his rookie in 87 Dunrose. What's frustrating is I got his rookie as an 87 Leaf. There's Dunrose and Leaf, and it's worth like $5,000, and I can't find it. And I know I had it. I go, oh, here's a Leaf card. And the other card I can't find that I know I had was an Albert Pujols Bowman Chrome rookie card that's worth like $5,000, and I can't fucking find it. I know I have it. It's in here, and I can't do it. So when I moved from Alabama, I have this 4-column box that is loaded with cards. There's a Nolan Ryan that doesn't carry the value it should either, but it's loaded with cards. So I took this, filled the trunk. So I had like 8 boxes of regular cards, and I got 8 boxes of these frame cards. And then the real good ones went into the safe with my gold. Here's when he was chasing the home run. This is home run 62. I got up to home run 70 or whatever. One of my favorite cards I got is a 1961 Roger Maris perfect condition, centered. It's a perfect card. I'll try to find it for you. It's probably in the safe because I know better. 61 tops, perfect. It's the year he hit 61. It's I don't know, probably 20, 30 grand. I got these cards coming out of my ears, but I got to get them graded. What do I got? I got friends or what? I just got to get them graded, but I got all the right cards, and they're in very good condition. The only time you see these older cards not in good condition, I couldn't find them. I'd go to show after show. I'd look for them, and then I would just, okay, I got to get it. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. There was something I saw the other day. So here's one thing I saw, and I'll show you. Kraft. This isn't what I wanted to show you, but I fell on it. Kraft Heinz stock falls after revenue misses as price increases offset by volume decline. That's Austrian economics, right? So you're at the market and you're trying to sell Heinz ketchup. The market's here. You raise your price here. What does it say? Price increases offset by volume decline. I'm not going to pay for it. This is how we do as the market, right? You want to raise the price of ketchup. We say, fuck you. This is all we're paying. So your price goes up. We don't buy it. Your profits go down. Your stock goes down. We control it. What are they going to do? They're going to have to lower the price to come down to market. We win. That's what we do with steaks, ketchup, salad, whatever it is you want. Don't fuck around with the price increases. Just let it go. Now their stock goes down. Now we've hurt them, and they'll have to lower their price. That doesn't mean inflation's going down. This is what blows my mind. We control it. We're the market. We say we don't want to buy it. You don't make earnings. You lower your price. It's got nothing to do. Inflation is you printed too much of this shit, not the prices. So that's what I'm always babbling about. Ford will lose $4.5 billion on electric vehicles. That's a shame. Anyway, there was one on FOMO. Investors are making the same mistake they made during the dot-com and housing bubbles, which is buying on the low. They don't understand economics. So there was something called FOMO, which I said, what the fuck's that? Fear of missing out. And that's what's coming. That's why I say get out of the market. But that's what we want. That's what I went through with the cards. So I'd see this card. Which one did I see? Which nice one? So if I saw this card, it ain't worth the time. So let's say there's an 8. Well, this is a stupid one too. I got to go to a better one. Anyway. So let's say this one. So I see the Dick Buckus card, and it's in good shape. It's a little off center. So I buy it out of the fear of I won't be able to find it, a fear of missing out. So I won't see Butkus again in this condition. And like the Koufax, if I do see it perfectly centered, I'll just have 2 of them. Nothing wrong with that. This one's worth a lot. The second one, if it's a 10, if it's perfectly centered. But I bought it out of fear of missing out, fear of I won't see it again in this condition. And that's what they're doing with stocks. They're trying to buy the stocks, fear of missing out that it's going to be higher. And that's what I'm trying to convince you guys with gold. Fear of missing out is, see, this is my fear with gold, is that you will not be able to find it at $2,000 an ounce, and or even if you can find it. The only reason I find it at my store is people coming in with it to sell it to the guy. If people didn't come in to sell it, if people would listen to me and understand it's going up 20 times to 40,000, if people understood that, they wouldn't be cashing it in for 2, but they have to, they need the money. I feel sorry for these people because if they're doing that, unless they have a shitload of gold, what are they going to do next month or in a few months? I feel bad if they need the money that badly and you're selling a $40,000 ounce of gold for $2,000. You're fucked. You're gonna be in big trouble when the price goes up. So that's my fear for you guys and me. I mean, I keep buying is because I want to make sure I get it. Because if I wake up Monday and it's 20,000 an ounce, I'm like, fuck. So that's why Fridays I tend to go, because these things happen over the weekend. So you're going to wake up on a Monday or Sunday night and all of a sudden gold's 20,000 an ounce. It ain't going to do it on Monday to Tuesday. It's going to do it Friday. Everything's here. Monday, it isn't. And the Fed plays their little games and they steal all the money as it's happening, like what Wall Street does now. They'll tell you to buy Tesla, but they bought it at 180 a share and it pushed the price up to 250. And then you guys are buying it at 250, but they already bought it at 180. So what I'm warning you about is please buy your gold now and your silver now, because the fear of missing out is if silver hits $500 an ounce, what are you going to do? You'll fucking be pissed off. You won't be fit to tie. Or you finally do it and it finally hits 500, and guess what? There's no silver or gold to buy. It's gone. It's been bought up. That's why it's 500. And so that's the biggest problem. Now we go to the grocery store. Yeah, there's always Coca-Cola and ketchup, and there's always yellow shirts to buy. So we're already, the path is already there. Well, I know I can buy a Nautica yellow shirt. I don't have to run and buy it now. But not with gold and silver. There's not that much of it. As he said, it's a half ounce of value now. Now, I don't know that counts everything Russia has and or all the central bank buying. But if 1 ounce is there's not enough gold out there. And they might not be counting the 60,000 ounces China has, the 20,000 or tons and the 20,000 tons that Russia has. Keep in mind, that's 32,000 ounces a ton. I go buy 2 ounces. I'm excited. They buy a ton. They're getting 32,000 ounces. Jesus fucking Christ. I wish I was a bank. But that's the thing. So are they counting that? But once that goes from a half ounce, from a 0.5% to 1 full percent, and there's not enough supply, all of a sudden gold's 20,000, but you can't find it. The fear of missing out, you're going to really freak out. Now you can kind of be okay, but I keep pushing to buy it now before you can't buy it, because it's coming to that with all the bullshit that's going on. So I must have deleted the FOMO, fear of missing out, but that's when emotion gets to you. Once these prices, this is what I'm trying to drive into you. Once these prices go and it becomes emotional, it goes 20. Once gold hits 10 grand, it hits 20. And once it hits 20, it hits 30. Because then the emotion comes, the fear of not having it comes. And then silver, everybody's going to run into silver, because once they see gold go up, they understand silver's going to go up. You'll never see 25 an ounce again. Bobby, so what did I, okay. Yeah, so the best brand was limited. I mean, they're all pretty limited in the 90s. That's why I went after the limited cards. You collect the cards like He's silver, trying to get all the different designs. Yeah, well, it was always the different McGuire's, the different Berries, the different Clemens, the different Franco here. Well, there was only one Franco to get and one Tony Dorsett. You just got different years. But yeah, I mean, that's, well, what do I got? I got some nice, well, like here. So Charles Woodson. So you're asking me, well, this Topps Chrome was much better than the regular Topps to get. It was an offset of Topps Chrome. Yes. So I would get Charles Woodson here, and then I would get him in Topps and Pro Set and a few other ones that look good, but I knew they weren't going to be as valuable. This was probably the most valuable, except that they had some that were limited subsets. You know, like the Tom Brady 700 I got. That's very limited. Well, look at the Eiserman 101 I got. The regular card was just a regular card that was Topps Black Label, and there was Topps, then there was Black Label, and then there was red, and it was 100 count, 50 count, 25 count, and 1 count. I got the 1 for $200. I think that's the most I paid for a card. And it's 1-1. That's it. So it depended on that, but they all started coming out with Topps Finest, Topps Chrome, Bowman Chrome, Bowman Finest. Then you went into refractors. So the refractor is what you wanted. Let's see if I have a nice refractor. This is a, here's a Kurt Warner rookie card out of 1,000. Right, there you go. He's number 2 out of 1,000. Kurt Warner rookie card. And I don't know if it's a refractor, but it sure shines nice. So I waited and I saw Kurt Warner, and as soon as I saw him, I knew he was gold and what he was doing with the Rams. And then I started buying the rookie cards. That's why you should wait instead of buying the cards. You don't need to buy them now. If the guy hasn't played, it's stupid to buy them. They'll be there. There's a lot of cards. But yeah, this is how I differentiated my portfolio: football, baseball, hockey, and I still bitch I didn't buy gold back then. I bought a little. Like, this is 1995 when I graduated with my master's. But my ex had me so much into this instead of so much into the coins. I figure I could have had probably 200-300 ounces, because it was only $250 an ounce at the time. We were both working, but in the divorce, she would have grabbed half of it anyway. So I wouldn't have had as much, and I got all the cards, so that made sense. Kangaroo, Cougarans, Buffaloes, Maples. That's I said that at our coin store. I said, my friend, that's how we diversify. We buy the Cougarans, the Maple Leafs, the Pandas, whatever it is. That's how we diversify, by buying the different gold coins. It's pretty funny, but yeah, I mean, it's just different countries, but we're buying gold, and that's the key, and the silver. So yeah, that's how we diversified. But I'm struggling. The boat's sinking. I don't want any money in the bank. I don't want any money in the stock market. I don't want bonds. I don't want any investments like annuities or REITs. I don't want to attack Wall Street and have them hire the guy to kill everybody. I don't want anything to do with this. Nobody wants it. Only nobody knows that nobody wants it but us. I'm explaining no demand, there's no market, there's no price. There is no demand for this. Now they're trying to sell bonds. What did Egon say? Well, the Fed will be buying the bonds from the Treasury. That's how it's going to work. Those are to pay the debt. Who wants to buy our bonds if they're not going to get paid back? Because we have a $35 trillion debt, which means if I were to buy T-bonds, that means in 10 years or 5 years, I'm going to cash it in and get the money. They won't have the money to pay me, or it'll be inflated money, and I'll paid $100,000 for 10-year treasuries, and they're going to pay me back, and the money will be worth nothing if it's worth anything at all. So that's the point. And so nobody's going to want the dollar. No demand. There's no market. It's worthless. It will go to zero. It will. It is not. We've hit the iceberg. It will sink. We've hit the iceberg. This will sink. It's hit. The water's coming in. There's nothing anybody can do. The only out is to get on the gold boat, which we're doing. So if you were just back this by gold, which you can't because you don't have 8,000 tons of gold. You have zero. So you would need gold to back the currency by gold would stop the water coming in. But since they don't have it, and they're all Keynesians who don't believe in gold, that's the problem. I heard something that was frightening yesterday. Biden signs this executive order that all the car companies are going to have to make electric cars in like 2035, by 2035, and they need like 70 miles to the gallon, which they can't do only in electric cars, and who knows if they'll do it. Then I see where there was a company, I don't remember if it was Ford or whatever, they can't make the car because it's probably in the other day's video, because there's no batteries. So the batteries, wait till silver goes up to 500, 1,000 an ounce. You need silver to make the battery, electric batteries. So let's look out 10 years from now and everybody's driving electric and the batteries start going. There ain't going to be replacement batteries because there ain't going to be any silver, or the expense of the silver is going to make the battery go for $30,000, which nobody's going to have $30,000 to buy a battery for an electric car. I'm not getting rid of my Camry. I don't give a fuck. So now I'm looking at Hungary and Switzerland to move, maybe Sweden. Get the fuck out of here. People come here because of our laws, but our laws are all corrupt right now. So it's all fucked. Our money's not good. Switzerland's money is good. It really won't matter if we have gold. I don't give a fuck what the money is. I got my own money. I'm bringing my own booze to the party. I'm bringing my gold and silver to the party, so I don't care what your money is. So Europe's really in trouble. I keep telling Jenna her girlfriend's in trouble, the one that's in Berlin, the one I met in Barcelona. She lives in Berlin. I go, they're fucked. The inflation rate's high. The euro is going to zero. how the fuck is she going to survive there? So I shake my head, and then of course they don't believe me. I go, the euro's done. No, it isn't. The yen's done. The Japanese, but the only reason the Chinese and the Russians aren't done is because they got the gold. They just come out with gold. They don't care. But the Japanese and the Brits and the euro, they're all broke. Their money is they've all hit the Titanic. In fact, every currency in the world's hit the Titanic. Venezuela is the latest, shoveling the water out there at the bottom of the Pacific or Atlantic, wherever the fuck they're at. So all these currencies, which means they can't buy our goods. Well, we don't really have many goods to do it. Now, there's no reason to worry about a war with China because we buy their goods. So if we go to war, we're not going to buy their goods. So they would never want a war with us. It's sort of like me and Bobby at the Bobby's shoe store. Why would we get into a fight with our customers? And who's going to buy the shoes? So we would never get into a fight with the customers because we want them to buy our shoes. China's never going to get into a war with the U.S. because we won't buy the shoes. We're the buyers of the Chinese products. So they would never do that. A lot of it's going to India. So I'm talking to the guy in the pool. He's from India. And I say to him, are you socialist or capitalist? He doesn't understand. And we think we have problems. The Indians have 10 times. The Indians are socialists, but they don't understand it's free market, but the government controls a lot. The government controls it's socialism. Probably more communist. So communism, socialism is really the same. It's just government controls the market and the individual doesn't. And that's why we want to keep capitalism is we control it. I can run out and go buy this Michael Jordan card because we're capitalists and I'm free to buy if I have the money. So I'm free to invest my money and work. That's where I had the argument with the communist in the hot tub. I said, he's saying about the owner being corrupt. And I go, you understand, it's capitalism. This is Adam Smith, this invisible hand. I can do whatever I want. If I want to be a senior financial analyst, if I want to sell football games, if I want to teach economics, I'm free to do that in a capitalistic society. If we're in Russia, I wouldn't be able to do any of it. This is the job you're going to do, and that's the job I'd have to do. That's fucking communism. There is no freedom. And it's like you're banging your head into the wall with these idiots that they only see, oh, well, the guy bought the shoe store. He needs to give us more money. Well, no, you're a fucking shoe salesman. You make $300 a week. That's it. Nothing new. Bobby, I already read that. Luke, yeah. I thought you lived in Philadelphia, Luke. Well, you flew back to Philadelphia. So you're probably a good Steeler fan. All right, Luke, we can work together. I'll send you my Steeler cards. There you go. How much can we get for LC Greenwood? 1977, I think. There you go. That's a little off center. But I feel a man like you, we can get a couple $100 because it's LC Greenwood. We can package it with, we can package it with there you go. We can package it with 2 Jack Ham cards. There you go. This is an 80. This is a 81, and this is a 77. So there you go. We got pretty mint condition Jack Ham. This is nicely centered for. This is Joe Montana's rookie year, and a 77. These are pretty centered. These could be PSA 9s. There you go. So we got 2 Jack Hams with the LC Greenwood card. And we can probably, do I got a Franco? I know I had a Franco. Here's a Jack Lambert. And that's a nicely centered 81. Boy, we're going to make a fortune with these Steeler cards. So we'll have to get together and we'll go and get them graded and make a few $1,000 in Pittsburgh land. I had that happen. I was a dealer at a card show because I felt it was cheaper to buy the cards as a dealer than as a buyer. So I always remember that you don't want to sell to a seller, you want to sell to a buyer. Meaning, if I wanted to buy that Lambert card, it would cost me, let's say the book was $10, it would cost me $8. However, if I was a dealer and a kid came up to me with the Lambert card, I could give him $3 or $4 for it. He'd be excited he got the $4. I'd be excited I got a Jack Lambert mint condition card. So that's really what you have is depending. So I had one guy come and from Toronto, and he had I had a bunch of Felix Potvins, which he knew he could sell in Toronto. So we traded. I gave him the Felix Potvins, and I got some Red Wing cards. I don't know, Yzerman or whatever. So it was a trade of, or maybe it was Dominic Hasek, I don't remember. But I traded Felix Potvin to this guy because here he doesn't mean anything, but the guy could sell him in Toronto. So that's how you kind of connect. You have different areas of the country. Those Steelers are going to sell better in Pittsburgh than here. And then I can pull out a 68 Donnie Anderson in mint condition. And I could go to Wisconsin and I could sell these Packers and make a ton. We could go around the store, around the country. Here you go. Here's a Carol Dale. Pretty good shape. Doesn't have to worry about centering. How are the corners? Yeah, maybe an 8. But it's Carol Dale. Played on all the Lombardi teams. So, I mean, you go to Green Bay with those. You'll sell them like hotcakes. You go to Pittsburgh with those. That's the idea. The problem is now, if we went to a card show, there's nobody to buy. Who would we buy? We'd buy Mahomes and we'd buy Burrow. And that would be it. And then you'd get to, and we wouldn't waste our money on Tua or Hurts or any of these Alabama guys. Maybe you buy Brock Purdy cheap, but all you can only focus on is the guys winning the Super Bowl. Maybe you go after the Aaron Rodgers rookie, but if he doesn't win another Super Bowl, they're not going to be worth too much. So there's no, I wouldn't waste a dime on any of, like, if you bought CJ Stroud or Richardson or the other idiot from Alabama, you're out of your mind. Or Fields. These are $2 cards. Lamar, it's a $2 card. They're worthless. These guys will never do shit. It's only the Brady who wins the Super Bowl that has value. So Mahomes is going to win them all, as Bobby said, or Burrow. They're going to take turns. Otherwise, forget it. Maybe you get Chase. Maybe you get Jefferson. That's it. Kelsey. That would be it. That would be all I'd buy. And now they're taking the running backs out. So you're really fucked. I mean, you're looking at, I think I have a Gales here. I was going through these cards today. I got kind of bored. But I thought I saw a Gale. Maybe not. Yeah, it's here somewhere. Anyway, that's what you do. But now they've taken. There's no Lawrence Taylor. I showed you Dick Butkus. No Gale Sears type. So now it becomes quarterbacks and receivers. Most of the quarterbacks. Why would you buy Lamar Jackson, Fields, Stroud, any of those? Maybe I would buy Stenson Bennett, but again, I'm waiting till he plays. I'm not buying anybody before they win the Super Bowl. And I did that with Brady. I did not buy the Brady rookie card his rookie year. I waited until he won 2 Super Bowls, and he beat the Rams, and, well, he really didn't do much. And then he won the second one. What was it, Philly or Carolina? And then I started buying Brady ones, and I bought boxes of Pacific and pulled 2 of his out. I bought the Bowman Chrome Refractor at a show, probably for $80. That was early 2000s. I was buying Brady after he won the Super Bowl. So my point is, don't buy Hurts, don't buy Lamar Jackson, don't buy Richardson or this Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. Don't buy any of them until they win Super Bowl. You're going to have a better – next year is going to be so – there's Hartman, there's Van Dyke, there's Rising, there's Caleb Williams, there's Penix, there's Jefferson from Arkansas, there's Frank Harris. There's going to be 20 quarterbacks, but I wouldn't buy any of them until I wouldn't run and buy Williams. If anything, I'd buy Rising or Hartman or Van Dyke because I know they're studs. That's who I would probably buy real cheap and then just hope they started winning Super Bowls. Look at Brock Purdy. He'd have won a Super Bowl last year if he didn't get hurt in the game. They'd have beaten Philly, and off they went. But anyway, so you can see, but these are assets, right? This is an asset. Well, here's a good card. Ronnie Lott, rookie card in action, 82 tops. That's an asset. People, there's a market for. So what are we buying? We want something there's a market for. There's a market for Ronnie Lott. There's a market for Montana, Elway, and Rice. There's no market for, some of these guys. Well, there's so many Jordans. But like Art Monk, is there a market for Art Monk? It's a small one. Is there a market for Ronnie Lott? It's a big one. So this is what you're looking at. No market. I don't want him. I bought a set. That's why I have him. So I got a whole set, and I pulled all the stars out. That's why I got this card. So I just bought the set for $30, knowing that these rookies are in it, and if they're in good shape, they're worth. They pay for the box 20 times over. I pulled out a Lawrence Taylor rookie card. It's $15,000. It was pretty damn centered. Anyway, so you buy this because there's a market for it. You get rid of this because there is no market for it, right? Nobody wants this. Does anybody want this? Yes. Montana, yes. Art Monk, probably not too many people. People in Washington, maybe. He was a great receiver, but him, yes. So the better the player, Bobby Orr, Mickey Mantle, that's why I use those as examples. Those are the ones. There you go, Johnny Stallworth. We can add him. I got the whole fucking team. This is a little off center. I think this is his rookie card. No, this is 81. It wouldn't be his rookie card. But there you go. So you sell the whole team, but there's always demand for the 70s Steelers, the 60s Packers, the 80 49ers, the Lawrence Taylors, not Phil Simms. The 85 Bears. Are you kidding me? I don't. I got the Peyton. It was mostly defense. The offense kind of sucked. But McMahon, but he wasn't, not like Peyton and not like Richard Denton, those guys. But you want popular gives you demand. Demand gives you money. And that's what and why I talk about it. So when we get into investments, you want to buy Microsoft, but if people don't have money anymore, they're going to buy Microsoft products. If they're not going to buy Microsoft products, stock's going to go down. This is why we talk about interest rates with houses. There's going to be no demand for houses. The market for houses is going to collapse because the interest rates are so fucking high. I showed you Egon. What did he say? Interest rates are going to the roof. Alligator says the same thing. Interest rates are going to go way up. The Federal Reserve, the central bank, does not control them. The market does, and I explained because I want to get paid back. If I'm going to get paid back an inflated dollar, I got to raise the interest rate. Why would I loan out $50,000 to get paid back $35,000? I want to get paid back $55,000. And you know what? I don't even want to get paid. I don't even want to loan it out anymore. I just want to go buy gold, and I don't have to worry about it. And that's the thing. And then to insult us by saying, well, gold's going to go to 2,200 or 2,300 because look at the chart. These people are too stupid to even follow or have a conversation with. They don't understand it's price fixed. How the fuck do you not understand that? If you don't understand that, I don't even want to talk to you. That's the first thing when I talk to people about gold and they say, well, look, it's only, it's at the all-time high. It's at 2,050 or silver might hit 50. And I just go, oh my God, no, it's price fixed, you idiot. The demand is much, much higher. But they think that they don't understand price fixed. They don't understand supply demand. So that'd be like, silver is like holding this card to $2. All right, let's say it was better centered. It's like saying this card's worth $2. Well, that's what COMEX says. Well, it's Walter Payton. It's an 84. Let's say it was better centered. Things worth $1,000. All the PSA 10s are. Here, let's go with Thurman. So his rookie card's probably $700, right? This is a 10. This is nicely centered. This is that 89 score set. So let's say this card's worth $1,000, but COMEX has it priced at $20. Well, that's all it's worth. The $20 is not real supply demand. The $1,000 for this is real supply demand. That's the difference with cards are free market. They're priced at what they should be. And the gold and silver aren't yet. And that's why we're buying the gold and silver. That's why I talk you into gold and silver out of houses, because they haven't hit the free market yet. They've been held down. This card. So COMEX has this card at $2. So you think it's only worth $2 because COMEX says so? No. On eBay, it's $1,000. So the gold and silver, the problem is on eBay, it's what the COMEX is. So it's 2,000, but we all know it's much higher than that. With all the shit going on in the world, it's a lot higher than 2,000. So we know that, so we still buy it at 2,000 because we're going, okay, that's what we need to buy it at. So it's funny how it all blends in. So it's the same thing with girls and poker and everything else. It's all supply and demand if it's free market. So are women free market? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe some of them say, no, you got to be rich. Like Carmen, oh, you got to be rich. Kenzie, I don't know what. She wants me to give her $800 so she can fly to me. The fuck is that? So I'm not going to give her the 800. Just I gave her 200. Come fly to me. What are you holding up? So that's her deal. She's on this price thing. And I says, no, I'm not going to give it to you. And then she plays the games. Oh, you hurt me, or I don't care who Bobby is, and all. It's all bullshit. But it's the same thing. It's what's the real market for it? That's what we're always trying to get to. Poker, are they bluffing, or is that real market? Does he really have a full house, or did he make a big bet bluffing? And that's what you're trying to read from the guy is what does he normally do? Does he normally bluff me? If he makes this bet, does he have it, or is he bluffing? Most of them against me, because I'm aggressive, and I normally, when I bet a lot, I normally have it. I don't bluff big. I will bluff small. Check, I'll bet 25, I'm bluffing. However, once I see 100 go in and 200 go in, I'm not bluffing. I am then, I'm calling when I got the goods on you if you're betting, if you're already making the big bets. It's not the time to bluff. The first bet might be a bluff, but not the second. So that's what I look at. And then I try to read the bluff. Oh, the guy's looking at the TV, he's not bluffing, so stuff like that. But everything's free market and not. So that's what you're looking at is there a market for it? And with girls, they tend to only like you because you have money. Then you can smell that and you go, no, she doesn't like me. She just wants my money and that's it. And that's what I have with Carmen, but I don't have it with Jenna and Daria. I don't feel, now I do help them, but not a lot. And then I don't feel like they're with me because I have money. I don't believe that. But then 99% of the girls are about money and safety and security anyway. So that's part of the game. So you understand that too. So can we break COMEX with the gold and silver? And that's what BRICS is going to do. We got it 5 ways. We got BRICS breaking it. We got the central banks breaking it. And we got the dollar hitting the Titanic breaking BRICS. So we got BRICS broke 3 or 4 ways. The banks, the debt, $32 trillion. That'll break the dollar. That'll break COMEX. So we got 4 or 5 things breaking COMEX and making gold run. And as I'm saying, fear of missing out. Once gold runs, goodbye. And that's why I say what I say at the 50,000. I think is very conservative. I think if it hit 100 or 200,000, I would not be surprised. And silver's 10% or whatever it hits. So if gold hits 100, silver's at 10,000. You'll never see silver at 25. It's not a realistic price. So with that said, then just keep eating. So tomorrow I'll probably go to the store, although I get paid next week. I love this. It's either I get paid Thursday or that means I get paid next Thursday. So it's always good. So next Thursday I get paid. But it's very easy. It's tomorrow or next week I buy the ounce or 2 of gold next week, but tomorrow I'll buy either 10 ounces of silver or a quarter ounce of gold, whatever he has. I don't know what he has, but he's been getting in, although it's been strange. He'll have maples, he'll have Cougarons. Last week he had the Philharmonics, the Austrians. Who knows who's coming to the store to get money, but he takes it. I think a lot of it he knows I'll buy it because I'm buying gold. He doesn't care, but he gets wiped out a lot. And so it's hit or miss if he's going to have it. So it's not like buying a yellow Nautica shirt. He might not have gold at all. I've gone weekends where he doesn't have any gold and he has the silver. Then he doesn't have any silver. Now he's lately been getting gold in, but again, it's people buying it. So there's always demand for gold and silver. Always remember that. So therefore, when you buy it. So Luke, to answer your question, which I think I've answered, but I'll answer again, is I wouldn't be in a 401k. I wouldn't be in any stocks. I know you're getting 3%, but what are you getting 3% of? You're getting 3% of this crap. So it's like you're on the Titanic and they're going to serve you cake and you're going, well, I should wait for the cake to come. Well, yeah, it's flooding. All the water is coming into the boat. So are you really going to eat the cake as the water carries you down at the bottom of the ocean? So I told you what I do. I do not take an IRA. I don't care about the matching, if I match it or not. I want all my money in gold, all my extra money in gold and silver. Excuse me. All these cars are bought back in the 90s, early 2000s. I'd say in the last 10 years, all I bought is a Mahomes 50 count card. I don't have a Burrow yet. Let him win a Super Bowl. I'll probably go buy some Burrows. Outside of that, that's it. I got the Montana and the Rice, and look at Marino. His cards aren't worth anything. Not in comparison to Montana and Brady. Marino's cards aren't worth anything. Neither are really Elway's. They're not. They don't have that value. Bradshaw's a bigger value than Staubach. Staubach does have a value. Walter Payton's got a nice value. Didn't need to win a title. Jordan's got the value, much more than Magic and Bird. So it's really strange why Jordan has such a value when Magic's the GOAT. Well, Wilt's the GOAT, and Kareem are basically the GOATs, and then Magic, and then Bird, and then Jordan. Let's just face it, Jordan never beat Bird, and Magic beat Bird twice or three times. So Magic gets it for beating Bird. Bird gets it next for beating Jordan. Jordan didn't beat anybody. Didn't beat Magic, didn't beat Bird, didn't beat Isaiah until Isaiah hurt his Achilles or something. And then he beat a bunch of nobodies, Karl Malone and Egon or whoever. I don't even think he beat Ewing or something. So he didn't beat anybody, but he won 6 titles. But he didn't beat anybody, but he won 6 titles. He beat John Stockton. Whoopee. So basically, that's what I'm trying to beat into you is the market, is the demand. It's the dollar not having a market, not having demand anymore. That's what you've got to realize. This is just toilet paper. This is printed. This is worthless. The only real money is gold and silver. That's what I'm trying to beat into you. So anything gold, anything stocks, bonds, go to the bank and get a money market, real estate trust. You don't want real estate. People think real estate. I was reading 3 things you should invest in, and it was like art, real estate, and something else. And it's like stocks. And I just like, okay, why are you in art? What are you going to go buy a Picasso? What the fuck good is that going to do you? I'd rather buy a Rolex than a Picasso. At least it's $50,000. I mean, who has money for a Picasso? You got to go to an auction for it. That's a multi-millionaire just buying a Picasso, not me and you. So that's out. Art's out. Art's extremely hard to sell. Real estate. What are you going to do with it? Unless you're next to Caesar's Palace, there's really not. You just got a house in the middle. All the values are going down. Why is that? It's too late for that. So that's why gold and silver hasn't gone yet. But everybody says, well, there's no demand for it. Bullshit. As we know, that's why I have Egon on and Alligator and those guys. Because they'll tell you what's really going on, even though I'm telling you what's really going on. But it's nice when they kind of confirm what we already know. It's the guys who don't know that. It's the Peter Schiffs and the other idiots who go, well, it might go to 2,100 because COMEX is down and down and down. Silver might hit $40 an ounce. I can see it hitting $40. Nobody wants to listen to you guys. You're idiots. Anyway, I think that's about it. It's 11 o'clock. I've been up since 7, and I got to get up at 7. Tomorrow I love. I mean, these 9-hour days are tough, but tomorrow it's 4 hours. It's get up at 8, work 8 to noon, eat, go buy gold, go swimming. Maybe I'll hit ribs tomorrow. I don't know. Every time I go, my foot bothers me, so I don't know what to do with that. But anyway, so then it's the weekend. So I'm done at noon and get my 40 hours in. And it's nice. So I think I'm going to pull my money on Monday out. I'm scared to do it today. I was going to pull my money out of my IRA at E-Trade. And I thought, all this shit happens on the weekend. So if I pull it today and I don't get my money till Monday and something happens at the bank or something happens, then I'll be pissed. But I know it happens over the weekend. So I'm going to wait till Monday. And if everything's cleared, then I will. And it should come the next day. So if I pull 20 grand out Monday, I should get it in my bank Tuesday, and I'll be at my bank Tuesday to get cash. So when I get money in from my E-Trade account, so I sold all my stock. I don't own any stock. So I pull the money out. Then I immediately go to the bank and go, give me 20 grand, and they count it out. And I put it in the safe, and then I go buy gold with it. So I can't think of a better, safer place. And as you heard, Egon, they're not going to really confiscate the gold and the silver. It's such a little thing. I can see them going after real estate or trying to tax you when you sell it. But real estate's a lot easier, or your bank account, to get the money out than to get gold when it's 0.5% of people have the gold. I mean, think about it. Most people don't have gold. So why would the government go after your gold? You know, I hate when that's what FDR did, yeah, but back then, a lot of people had gold. Not like now. There was a gold rush in San Francisco, right? The 49ers, and in Vegas, there was a gold rush. So people had gold. And now they don't, nobody wants gold. So why would they go after it? So I think we're very safe from them compensating it. Now, maybe when we try to sell it could be the problem. But outside of that, I don't see it. Anyway, so we did the football lines. Again, the hot picks were Detroit in a teaser. So take Detroit in 12.5, and Carolina, Houston, Tampa Bay and mini, Tennessee, Green Bay, Miami, Philadelphia, and Seattle. Now, again, that's in a teaser trend, but those aren't, I'm not taking Houston or any of those. Those are just strictly how the trend is laying out. But as I say about a technical trend in gold and silver, I don't smell what they're cooking. So I'm not using those the way I normally use them. Not yet. I will about week 6. I got to see how these new quarterbacks act. And then next year, Williams and Hartman and Rising and Penix and Van Dyke. I mean, they'll all probably start right away. And again, we'll need that's why the trends don't work. There's too many new quarterbacks coming in. So we'll have to see. But anyway, so that was football. College, we might touch base. And then we'll do baseball. So Saturday, about 11:30 noon to do that. And that's about it. So I'll have Mark McGuire, Andrew McGuire tomorrow, maybe, depending on how bad the show is with his guest that's highly demanded. I always get a little frustrated, like, why aren't they calling me up? You want to know what's really going on, or you want to fuck around? But I think he has Alistair McLean on once in a while, Alligator. But the rest of his guests are just pathetic. And then you'll see the guy like that Douglas McGregor, that Colonel. He's on 10 shows saying the same thing. You watch it once, and then you watch the others, and it's the same. It's just re-spit out. So anyway, fuck it. I'll do this, and they can fuck them. They won't know. That's their problem. All right, everybody, have a nice night. I will see you Saturday. Be safe. Enjoy. And www.teaserking.com. Football, it's getting there soon. And that's about it. So enjoy your night and have a nice weekend. And I will see you on Saturday. Figure about 11:30 noon. All right. Take care. Glad to have you in the class. Even you, Kenzie.